So good morning to everyone and welcome to our first joint session of our businesses and business support organizations that will be working along with you throughout this program. Just for a very brief orientation, this is the training session of the Virtual E-Commerce Accelerator Program. This is an intervention by the Caribbean Export Development Agency with funding from the European Development Fund through Expertise France and the French Development Agency. It's intended and designed to be a program where you work together with the businesses will work together with a BSO, and the ultimate outcome, the ultimate goal is that each of you, regardless of your e-commerce adoption journey, where you are on your e-commerce adoption journey, at the end of this program, you would have a very effective, functional, and successful online presence where you can advertise, sell, and sell your products and also receive payments. So keep that end in mind. I'm looking forward to checking within the next 6 months or so and to see each of you online doing your business there. So that's the ultimate outcome of this program. To do so, we have contracted the services of two very competent Caribbean professionals in the persons of Mr. Gilbert Williams and Mr. Lathan Campbell. And they come with a tremendous amount of experience in doing e-commerce and digital transformation in general. And they also have a very unique perspective of the challenges of digitalization in general, and e-commerce and other related functions like logistics, a very unique Caribbean perspective. So they're able to speak directly to the concerns that you yourself may have. So we are very happy to have them with us. Also supporting this program from Caribbean Export, I have the very competent assistance of Mr. Ramona Hamilton. Most of you in the past few days would have received communication from him. So for all intents and purposes, Ramona is your go-to guy when it comes to VEAP. Of course, I will be copied on all correspondence and would respond accordingly. So Ramona is your man in Caribbean Export when it comes to the day-to-day issues relative to this aspect of the program. And of course, like I said in our last session, I am encouraging everyone to be open and transparent about your feedback and about your own ideas about how we can improve the methodology. Now, I won't spend too much time this morning on any preliminaries. We want to give most of the time to our training aspect of this session. So we have until 1 o'clock. Of course, the sessions will be recorded and they will be made available within short order of the end of the session, maybe a day or two, so you can revisit the material at your own pace. We would like to encourage those of the businesses especially to have maybe more than one individuals from your business to participate, so that the knowledge can be shared and they can complement what the lead person is doing. So I will take this opportunity now to invite our trainers to take care of the rest of today's proceedings. I will be in and out of the session, but Ramona will be here throughout the entire duration. And we would, if there are any questions that we need to answer, we will be prepared to answer them. So it's over to Leighton and Gilbert. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Philip. All right, Philip, you hearing me, right? Just checking. Okay.
Voice check. We're hearing you.
All right, great. All right, Gilbert. I don't know if there's anything that you want to get into from an exercise perspective before I get into the content, or shall I just jump straight in? Gilbert?
Jump straight in. We have limited time, so jump straight in. Most of this morning sessions is going to be your within your module. So please go ahead.
All right, not a problem. I am about to share screen. Gilbert, just let me know when you see my screen, please.
All good. Ready to go.
All right, cool. Actually, before I jump into sharing screen, let me just turn on my camera for a bit. Let's stop sharing. Just for a few minutes. We'll get into morning again, team. Morning participants and business support organizations. As Philip would have mentioned, the aim of this program is to help you guys to increase your e-commerce adoption over a 5 to 6 month period through the rest of the course or the program. Myself and Gilbert will be very integral in transferring knowledge both the BSOs and to the participants on how to add e-commerce to your business operations in a way that allows you to deliver the results that you want to deliver in a reasonable time frame. I encourage all participants to give it your 100%. There are times when you may find it difficult to balance work and this program, but I encourage all that at the end of the day, guys, you're going to get out of this program as much as you put into it, right? As a trainer and consultant in e-commerce, I'm also a business owner. I actually provide, I have a technical company that provides technical services focused on helping companies to sell their products and services online, as well as to service customers anywhere, anytime. And I mention this because I want to mention to you guys that not only do we train and provide consultations in this thing, but we are both entrepreneurs at heart and understand what it takes to bring a business from zero to something, right? And I know a lot of times when persons get trainings on these types of topics, one of the complaints that they get is that, boy, the content is far removed from reality because the trainers may be disconnected from the truth or how things really go, you know. In this case, you will not find it to be so. We're very much connected to what it takes to really grow a business and also what it takes to really adapt e-commerce across the Caribbean into any business model. I am also a student of entrepreneurship and I've gone through development programs like this here in Jamaica. And I will tell you flat out that, you know, out of this experience of being a part of a business development program is what really caused me to turn around my business from being a very small business that had like 2 employees, you know, still in a corner office as part of a bigger office. So I had a little small space in our office to now moving up fully on my own, from just scampering around trying to figure out how to grow my business to having a formula for success, and from you know having, from having only local businesses to know, sorry, local clients to know having international clients, regional clients, clients as big as Google, WhatsApp, Airbnb, trusting my business to deliver services on their behalf. So I say all this to say, guys, that a lot of my success honestly came from my participation in a similar program like this, where I went and I gave it my all. I came out of that program as the most improved business. I also came out as the best team player. I also was awarded by the government entity as the boss man of the year, which really is a title they give to their top business performer. And this is an entity that services over 4,000 businesses across the country, right? So, these are some of the outcomes of my participation in such a program, or not only my participation, but my what I call full participation. You give it everything and you get out as much as you put in. So I'm encouraging persons, please, guys, grab onto this opportunity with both hands. A lot of money has been invested into this, which you're getting for free. You would not be able to afford this on your own. I can tell you this much, right? You would not be able to afford this on your own. So we're encouraging persons to really, over the next 5 months, give it your all. Give it your all. And we stipulated the timeline by not by chance, but being purposeful. And the reason why we created a 6-month-long program is because, over a 6-month period, they're able to implement technologies and strategies that are able to change the way how your business operates. If you're going for 2 to 3 months, oftentimes, it is easy to go back to what you were doing before. But if you are able to really focus over the next 6 months and adapt as much of the strategies that we are empowering you to adapt, you can definitely see a drastic change in your business over the next 6 months. At the end of the day, guys, I want to pass on to you the greatest benefit that I believe that I got from a program of this nature, which is having a formula for success, guys. Having a formula for success allows you to confidently go out there and get things done, even when there are great uncertainties. And a great thing as well about a formula for success is that you're able to replicate this formula and transfer it to whether it be other areas of your business, other business ventures, and so forth, right? So again, guys, I just wanted to take the time before getting into the content to really encourage persons to grab onto this opportunity with both hands, right? As you'd have heard, of course, I'm Leighton Campbell, and I have been doing a lot of consultations with clients in e-commerce far before COVID, but in COVID, it became a lot. When I say a lot, I mean, I think over the last 3 years, we've been doing at least 2 to 3 consultations per day. You can do the math of what that may add up to, right? But the long and short of that is that you see all the different challenges that persons are having, and based on the value proposition of my company, our company is forced to find solutions to the gaps that exist in the marketplace. So because of this, we've done e-commerce in so many different ways, shapes, and forms that we are really able to help any business to adapt these strategies. And when I say any business, I mean that we've been working with small businesses such as yourself, where there's only one entrepreneur, up to large corporations that have been around for 100 years, even government entities, right? So you're in safe hands where this is concerned. And I said, I just want to encourage you guys to lock in 100%. One of the benefits that I believe that Gilbert also brings to the table, which is a unique perspective, is that he's a Caribbean national who is living in the US, where there are available hundreds of resources and ways of doing e-commerce. I always tell people that the Caribbean is always about 10 years behind the US where technology is concerned, and him being in that space, able to see what is coming, how more advanced territories operate from an e-commerce perspective, and is able to bring that unique perspective within the Caribbean context. It is something I appreciate because in even my own business, I have partners who are based in Canada and UK and have benefited significantly from having that relationship. So, you know, you guys are equipped with two very competent consultants who deeply specialize in this and are able to bring unique perspectives to the table, right? However, at the same time, I will not tell you guys that we know every single thing, right? Where the space is changing every day, and you know it's a large space, and also even within the Caribbean, right across the Caribbean, you know, there are unique challenges that each territory will have to overcome. So I will not say that, you know, as I said, we know everything. We are here to learn from you. You are here to learn from us. And at the end of the day, what we want to have, guys, are success stories coming out of the VEAP program, right? So I'm gonna end my introduction on that note, guys. We're looking for success stories from the VEAP program, and I will tell you, as somebody who has been successful from a program like this, what tends to happen is that the program will promote you, right? We'll talk about the success that you have had, and will sometimes bring you into places that you yourself or they would not be able to go, right? So encourage persons to participate, take the most out of, get the most out of this, and just, as I said, just soak up as much as you can, right? I'm gonna share my screen now and get into the lecture slides. And we want this engagement to be full with participation. We want to hear your opinion on things. We want you to stop me at any point in time to either make a comment or to ask a question. If it is that you have something that you want to say, guys, just jump in. We encourage participation. Sometimes your point allows us to even get into things that we probably did not consider, or may allow us to address a pain point in a different way, right? We want to hear from you. Don't be shy. Unmute your mic at any time. You don't have to put up your hand, you don't have to ask any question. Unmute your mic at any point in time and jump in, all right? So let's go. All right, guys, so for today's session, we will be covering two main areas, which is the e-commerce overview and the e-commerce business modeling. Now, e-commerce business modeling is quite a large module, so we may not complete the entire module today, but we will try to complete. At the end of the day, guys, what we want to ensure is that you guys fully understand the concepts that we're trying to pass on. So we're not trying to rush the topics too much, but we have to still be mindful of time, right? So if I'm going too fast, if you need something to be explained further, please jump in, guys. All right. All right. So as we said, today we're talking about e-commerce overview and business modeling. This is very important, guys, to understand strategy. So the e-commerce business modeling focuses on your e-commerce strategy. And I will tell you that as a technology solutions provider and a consultant in the space, every single activity that you do in business should start with a strategy. The minute you start executing without a strategy is the minute that you've gone down a rabbit hole without clarity and without knowing exactly why you're doing it and how to measure your success. One of the things, guys, that I want to pass on to you guys in this program is a concept of nailing it before you scale it. What do I mean by nailing it before you scale it? Meaning that you want to get it right before you try to do it bigger. What does that mean? Oftentimes, us as business owners, entrepreneurs, we are taught that, you know, persistence, grit, resilience are the key factors that make up an entrepreneur. And because of this, we come up with this idea and we plow through it and we plow through it and we plow through it. And we'll never stop plowing. Some of us, we may give up. and quit. And oftentimes they say that the only way to fail in entrepreneurship is to quit, right? And then you have some of us who will just stay in the course, stay in the course, stay in the course. And we're just so committed that we're staying the course. But guys, I want to get you guys to really think about entrepreneurship and, you know, just business development in a different way. And in thinking about it that way, I wanted to also adapt it, apply it to the way how we maneuver this this program, right? Which is that we have to nail it before we scale it. What does this mean? We want to try different things. We want to try small things, think on a small scale. We want to experiment a little bit with your business, right? Where you try something for a period of time, sees if it works, and as part of seeing how it works, you make adjustments to that. Whether it is you're gonna remove some things from the offering or what it is that you're doing, or you're gonna add things to it, right? And what you wanna do, guys, as a business is that you wanna get it right early. And as part of getting it right early is, as I said, trying different things, whether it is you're testing different concepts, different theories, and some of the time, some of these theories are gonna fail. But you know what's the best thing, guys? The best thing is when it fails early. We don't want to find ourselves stuck in a loop of plowing the field because we're being resilient, because we're staying the course. What we want to do is get it right more than anything else. Sometimes we end up pivoting, but I know pivoting is a very good thing, because pivoting means that you are in the business, you've found a better way of doing what you're doing, and you're moving to that better way, right? Stopping what you're doing and moving to something new is not failing, right? And that is how you stay the course. You want to stay the course in a way where you are continuously evolving, continuously improving, right? But you're not flogging a dead horse. That's what we don't want to find ourselves in a position where we're continuously flogging this dead horse, and it allows us to become frustrated, right? So in the concept of nailing it before you scale it, what we want for persons to do is to look critically at their business, at your business. Look at it with fresh eyes. We're going to be bringing some perspectives to you that may change the way how you see your products, your services, your business over the next 4 to 5 months. And we're going to challenge you to really look at some of these things that you're doing to see if it makes sense and if it doesn't make sense. So at the end of the day, guys, e-commerce is a business strategy. Is a business channel, is a sales channel for getting your products and services out there. And because of this, guys, you have to take a business-like approach towards it. I would say a business-like approach means that we need to structure ourselves, we need to plan, we need to ensure that what we're doing from an execution standpoint matches the need or solves the problem that the business has, right? So as part of this engagement, the very first thing that we'll be doing, guys, is an e-commerce business model. And you know, this business model, you know, stems from what we call what is known as the lean business model canvas. So if you guys have participated in any business development engagement before, especially with your BSOs, you may be exposed to this canvas, is a way of thinking from a strategic perspective where business modeling is concerned. However, what is unique is that we've taken this lean canvas and created an e-commerce focus canvas that focuses 100% on e-commerce business, or at least touches on the key things that you need to think about when you're setting up an e-commerce business, right? And one thing that we also want to highlight here is that, you know, we have a workbook which we'll be sharing with you guys. Should be by the end of today, you can start working on. And the workbook starts right here. It starts with the e-commerce model, and will help you to start thinking about your own e-commerce model in your own context. And we want persons to be filling out their workbooks weekly so that you're not left behind. I will tell you flat out, guys, that in my own, again, experience, you know, being in that program that I was mentioning, every single day I opened up this PowerPoint document and I call it my playbook, right? And every single day in those sessions, whatever was being imparted to me, I, created my own version of it for my business. And even today, that playbook still is being referenced as part of some of the key strategies that I undertake. And this is from almost 5 years ago, right? So the workbook, guys, is created to create an e-commerce blueprint for your business. The workbook is supposed to help you to create a formula for success. So we're going to encourage persons to complete the workbook on a weekly basis. Consider it your homework, right? It's like your homework. Every single week, you have some homework to complete. Why is this important? Remember, guys, that the program is broken down into 2 categories, right? We have theory, we have practical. When you get to the practical elements, everything that we practice, everything that we reference will come from the theoretical concepts that you have documented in your workbook for your own business, right? So if it is that we're going to launch a promotion, that promotion is going to be based on whatever products you documented that you're selling in your workbook, for argument's sake, right? And we're going to go through all of these things. But for now, we're going to kick off with our e-commerce overview. And again, as I said, guys, we want full participation. Encourage persons to unmute their mics and jump in at any point in time, right? No question is a foolish question. No comment is a foolish comment, all right? E-commerce overview. All right, so what exactly is e-commerce? E-commerce is the buying and selling of goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and data to execute these transactions. I repeat, e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods or services using the internet and the transfer of money and data to execute these transactions. Now, I want to just pause here a little bit because a lot of times whenever we talk about e-commerce, it comes from the perspective of persons collecting payments online and collecting payments online only. Oftentimes we believe that if we don't have a payment gateway, we cannot participate in e-commerce. When at the end of the day, if you think about it, don't your very Instagram sellers are participating in e-commerce? Persons who may send you a WhatsApp catalog of their products and ask you to buy, making a bank transfer, are participating in e-commerce. Why? They are using the internet to sell their goods or services. They are using electronic methods to collect payments and exchange data. You may ask what data is being exchanged. You're collecting your name, your phone number, possibly your email address, possibly your delivery address. That is data being exchanged, right? And at the end of the day, a lot of informal businesses start right there. Selling on Facebook, selling through their WhatsApp, selling through Instagram, Facebook, not necessarily a full-blown website, especially for solo entrepreneurs who are shop for cash and the only money that they have is the money to buy the goods or services, or build capacity to provide the service that they're selling, right? And I want us to take a fresh look at how we see e-commerce. E-commerce is not defined by those collecting credit card payments online, guys, right? I will say it is the selling of products and services using the internet, bottom line. So when we think about e-commerce from a nail it before you scale it perspective, we may say to somebody, try selling your product or service on Instagram before you get a website. Or we may say, at least build a website where that persons can facilitate, your online orders and so forth. You don't have to integrate payment gateways as yet. And that is a journey that we bring persons through whenever we're looking at setting up an online business. You don't need to build Rome in one day, right? No house is built in one day. You build the foundation first, You lay some blocks and then you start adding on the rest. It's the same thing, guys, with e-commerce. You don't have to do everything in one. It now depends on your business model and your go-to-market strategy. You may choose otherwise, but you don't have to build it all in one day. Was there a comment or a question? No? I'm not sure I heard something just now. All right, cool. Let's continue. Now, how does e-commerce work? E-commerce pretty much goes through around about 3 to 4 processes. And if you think about it, you know, it's no different from doing business offline. A customer, a potential customer will take up a device, whether it be a phone, a tablet, a laptop, and they will search for or find the supplier that they're looking for. Similar to how you may jump into your car and drive to your store, right? You're looking for that product to buy from whichever supplier it is, right? When you get there or when you find the supplier, you're gonna submit an order. So whether you send a message on WhatsApp, Instagram, or you go on the website and add the product to cart and submit the order. And of course, as part of submitting the order, payment has to be made as part of that process, right? So whether you walk into a store, whether you're WhatsApping somebody, Instagramming them, or whether you're online, payment is made. And payment can be made by a cash, can be made by a bank transfer, can be made by a credit card, can be made by a Western Union transfer, for argument's sake, just throwing out some untraditional payment methods out there, right? Then of course, when the business receives this order, they will typically process the order. So in the case of a store clerk, they will enter this information into their POS system, and somebody may pack the order, put it together, and then give it to you as part of the fulfillment, right? So that's pretty simple. Similarly with e-commerce, again, whether it is that somebody received your text message or your WhatsApp message and the payment, they will then package the order, put it together, and have it shipped out to you as part of the fulfillment, right? So that's processing the order. Now, fulfillment can take many options as well. Fulfillment, again, you walk into a store and you purchase something, the person gives it to you in hand, and you walk out the store, your order has been fulfilled. Similarly with e-commerce, somebody makes a payment to you online and the order is processed, they will typically ship the product to you. Now, there are other methods of fulfillment that are not product related. So for instance, a service. Let's say you're a photographer, a graphic designer. Person pays you for the service and you go and you do the work and you send them an email with the work. So whether it is an email with the graphic design or an email with a download link to the photography, that is fulfillment, right? Similarly, you could be selling an ebook and the person, again, submits the order, you process the order, and as part of completing the processing of the order, you send the customer an email or a link to download or access the ebook, and the order is being fulfilled. So that's pretty much how e-commerce works. Keep in mind, guys, that this is how commerce overall works. E is just adding the electronic component to it, or the online component to it, right? So one of the things that we encourage persons to do is that when you're looking at e-commerce, look at it in the very same way for you to do your business offline. The idea is that you don't want to find yourself running multiple versions of the same business. Same thing that you're doing offline, what you're trying to do the same thing online, right? Just in an electronic way. And you want both of them to support each other as best as is possible, right? I don't know if there are any questions in the chat here. Okay, no, we're all good in the chat. Gilbert, just help me to mind the chat in case there are any questions that may come up there, please. All right, so that's how e-commerce works. Now, why e-commerce? The end of the day, guys, e-commerce is the most powerful sales channel of your business that can allow you to access customers anywhere in the world. So most persons consider e-commerce when they, well, let me put it this way. You have two types of businesses. Yeah? You have the business that is starting up, that has no sales as yet and need to get off the ground in the fastest and the cheapest possible manner. E-commerce is the perfect thing for them, because when you think about from an investment perspective, you have to invest in office space, office furniture, huge stuff to put in there, right? You're able to reduce your cost significantly. So it's one of the easiest go-to-market strategies that you can use as a startup business, e-commerce, right? Then for an existing business that may be selling already or may have a physical space, it's the perfect tool to get more customers within your immediate space, within your country. So if, let's say, for instance, you're in Grand Cayman, in the capital of Cayman, for argument's sake, just throwing out random country out there, you can use e-commerce to get more customers within your town. Or you can also use e-commerce to get more customers within the country, outside of your town. And you can also use e-commerce to get more customers in the Caribbean. You can use e-commerce to get more customers in the world. Wherever you want to acquire your customers, e-commerce is the #1 way to get that done. And we hear Alistair saying that e-commerce is truly the way to get going this time. This tool widens the scope for profits in business, right? Because naturally it reduces your costs. So when you think about e-commerce, guys, think about reach. Think about penetrating your existing market, increasing penetration in your existing market. Think about increasing penetration or entry into new markets. In my own business, guys, I live what I preach. I can tell you that, right? I have an office space that I got exactly 2 weeks before COVID hit. 2020, I started, I was like, man, this is going to be my year. I'm going to get my office space, and I'm going to make a bag of noise, and I'm going to make a lot of money. COVID had other plans for us, right? And people who have thought that maybe, technology service providers all boomed during COVID, but keep in mind as well that people are strapped for cash and people were in a panic mode, didn't know what to do. So we all had to go through that challenge together. But the long and short of why I'm mentioning this, guys, is that, we got this office space right before COVID, and we have not spent, to date, we have not spent 2 months straight in that office. At this point in time, my entire team operates remotely. And in the last 3 years, I don't think I've seen 5 customers at my office, right? And I say this to say that with the internet business, it really changes the way how you're able to engage and interact with your customers. It changes how you use your time. Instead of you driving to see a customer, you can have an online meeting, which saves a lot of time, right? I was able to optimize the way how my meeting schedule. I was able to double my meeting schedule, my meeting capacity, simply by doing online meetings instead of driving to customers, because that drive time was me jumping from one meeting link to the next, right? But again, as I said, guys, e-commerce is the way to go where penetration is concerned. In my own business, as I mentioned, I have customers here in Jamaica who I've never seen face to face. I don't even know what some of them look like, because when I come on a meeting, they don't open up their cameras, right? I have customers who have found me from all the way in Switzerland, right? Through internet searches and support. Our customers again who have found me from all the way in the US, right? And I say this to say, guys, that once you try it and you start structuring yourself in that way, you'll be amazed at how far and how wide your business can go when you adapt e-commerce strategies in your business, right? All right, let's talk about some statistics in e-commerce that enables us to do what we do in this particular way. And what do I mean by this? At the end of the day, guys, for any business to work, for any new sales strategy, for e-commerce to work, there has to be certain enabling factors. What exactly has changed in the last 10 years or so that has made e-commerce so viable today? It first and foremost starts with the penetration of cellular phones, internet users, and social media users. As we know, e-commerce is practiced on the internet, and I would say that for lifestyle related products, at least, 75 to 80% of all purchases are made through mobile phones, right? So the mobile penetration is extremely important. And here in the Caribbean, we have on average almost 100% mobile penetration right across the board in almost every single Caribbean country. There may be about 4 or 5 that, it's hovering at about 94, 95, 98. But majority of our Caribbean countries have over 100% mobile penetration. There are some countries that have up to almost 150 mobile penetration. What this means that 150%, almost everybody has pretty much 2 phones, and that's telling when persons have so many devices, right? Internet penetration has also significantly increased over the last years because of COVID. I know that pre-COVID, most Caribbean countries hovered around 40 to 50% internet penetration right across the board. But because of the need to do things like online schooling, work from home, a lot more persons have acquired internet services. And again, this is 2022 statistics at the point of February. So this number could very much have increased, right? For 2023, but we don't have that report as yet, right? And of course, we're seeing here where, and in this case, this is just for Jamaica. If you actually click on this, you will get these slides. If you click on this link at the bottom of the page, digital report, you will actually see the entire report for the Caribbean. So if I just click on it here, maybe it will open up. I can show you an idea of what this looks like. I want you guys to have this because a lot of times there are a lot of assumptions being made about statistics in digital penetration and just what the real numbers are across the Caribbean. And sometimes good data is hard to come by, right? But I want to quickly show you guys, I don't know, it seems that if my internet will load a little bit slower than I want to. All right, so this page is taking a little while to load, but the long and short of it, guys, is that every single country in the Caribbean here is accounted for where these statistics are concerned. It's an entire report. These are just some snapshots that I've taken out for Jamaica. And I chose Jamaica because there's a particular page that I realize is not in for other countries, but I wanted to show that element of it, right? But the bottom line, guys, is that because of the increased penetration or rather the penetration of mobile phones, internet users, and social media users, it is easier now more than ever to do business online. It's easier now more than ever to start a business with an Instagram page. It's easier now more than ever to do business with your customers through the phone. As I said, guys, I have customers who it's just WhatsApp. We don't have any conversation by a phone call, and that is it. Monies are exchange service that are provided, and we move on, and it works, right? So I want to encourage persons to open your mind in how you see e-commerce. Is not only about collecting payments online, right? So that talks about penetration for mobile, internet, and social media users. Now I want to talk about some global statistics here that are encouraging again for e-commerce. We see in here where almost 82% of persons have searched online for a product or service to buy. At least 90% of persons have visited an online website or store. Almost 70% of persons across the world have used a shopping app on a mobile phone or tablet to make a purchase, right? We're seeing as well where at least 76% of persons across the world have purchased a product online. And we're seeing where at least 55% have purchased a product online using their mobile phone. And it's always important to highlight the mobile phone because of how critical the mobile phone has become. The mobile phone is almost like an appendage to our bodies, an extension of our bodies. We go everywhere with it. If we're in the bathroom, we have it. I know some people shower with it. If we're on the road and our battery is dead, it's automatically time to go home. If you don't have data or internet service, for a prolonged period of time, you feel like fish out of water. Yes. So the mobile phone is very, very important. And it is also very important within the e-commerce ecosystem. This is why when websites are being developed, it's important that the websites are optimized for the mobile user experience, right? So we want to definitely ensure that we are covered in that regard. Now, financial inclusion factors that we want to highlight here. And this is the page that I mentioned that I know is available for Jamaica that I'm not finding for a lot of other countries. I don't know if it's because of the size of the country or what, but for some reason, Jamaica has this statistics, but I'm not finding it for the rest of it. So I want to highlight some of these, just some key fundamental factors here that I want to highlight, right? Now, this main one, which is the percentage of persons who have accounts with financial institutions, this is up to almost, this is at least 78% of persons have accounts with a financial institution. What does this mean? For me, it means that at least 78% of the country, at least 78% of persons in the country are able to participate in electronic commerce in one way, shape, or another. Now, it is becoming more and more popular these days for persons to have bank cards instead of bank book. I don't know when, last time I owned a bank book, I was probably in primary school, right? I have not seen a bank book personally in the last 20, 30 years, personally speaking, right? The thing nowadays is to have a card for your account. And what is becoming more and more popular across the Caribbean is that Visa and MasterCard are investing heavily in partnerships with the banks, where no longer are we just receiving regular debit cards for our normal savings accounts, but we're now receiving Visa and Master debit cards that allow us to make purchases online, right? So, you know, beforehand, it was all about credit cards. If you didn't have a credit card, you couldn't make a purchase using a payment gateway. You couldn't pay with a card online. But now, with MasterCard and Visa heavily investing in the Caribbean banks and these partnerships, even credit unions, guys, I'm seeing are having MasterCards for their accounts so that you can purchase online, which is a major game changer. But let's say, for instance, these persons didn't have their cards. Every single bank nowadays is doing online banking. I don't know any bank these days where you have to wait on a statement of your accounts to be mailed to you for you to know what is happening in your account. And because you have online banking, you can make a transfer from your bank to somebody else's bank just at the click of a button. And by simply being able to do an online transfer enables you to be able to participate again in online commerce, right? So what this means, guys, is that, again, almost 80% of persons in the country were able to do business with online, right? There's other statistics about percentages with cards, with credit cards, but again, we have to take some of these statistics with a grain of salt because we know that there are far more debit card if you are holders than credit cards, right? But I wanted just to zone in on the number of persons with the financial institution because that is the real telltale of what is possible where that is concerned. A system activity in the chat. Right, so it's saying it's just about the ease of doing business, making it convenient to both buyer and seller. The book is a backup. Well, true, but I have not seen that book in quite some time. So I don't know how many persons are actually still providing books. I have not been offered even a book. I opened some bank accounts recently and I wasn't offered a book. So I think it's been phased out for the most part, at least here in Jamaica. If you guys have other experiences in your Caribbean territories, you can let us know, all right? All right, challenges in the Caribbean that have caused issues for us before and also still may exist right now. One of them is, poor technology and logistics infrastructure. So although we have increasing internet penetration, the quality of the internet may not be so good. So it impacts the loading speed, which impacts the user experience. If I have to wait 5 minutes for us a page to load, you know, that's gonna get in the way of me purchasing something, because I don't have that patience, sit and wait there, you know. Often, unless it's something that I absolutely need. But 9 times out of 10, guys, the things that we buy out of maybe scrolling through. You know, we're looking for something, but we're not quite sure what we're looking for. So because that we're not going for a specific thing, there are some things that we're going for a specific thing where that may not be impacted. But you know, loading speeds and support though does impact the shopper experience. Just like if it is that you walk into a store or a wholesale and you know, you couldn't find the product you're looking for. It's not organized properly on shelves. You know, you have to be going through and digging through to find things. You know, it's kind of a similar shopping experience, right? And logistics infrastructure is also another challenge that I've found for quite a number of Caribbean countries. Here in Jamaica, it's on the up and up. There are quite a number of providers, both in the major towns and also island-wide, but I've come to learn that a lot of small Caribbean countries do not have proper logistics support. So if it is that you set a product and you want to have it delivered, oftentimes you have to deliver it yourself, or maybe you work out some special arrangement. Maybe you buy a car, maybe you buy a bike, maybe you have a friend who doesn't have a job and you empower them to deliver the deliveries for you, you know, things like that. But I'm aware that countries like Barbados are not very big on logistics at this point in time. I know Cayman is the total opposite because of their banking infrastructure. They have a lot of bearers there, you know, that are there to support the courts and the banks. Because of that, online sellers can leverage that infrastructure to get their products out. But I know that, as I said, some countries have it tougher than others. But I know that some persons have gone the extra mile to ensure that their products are able to get to their customers in a reasonable time frame, right? Another challenge that we identified earlier is low credit card penetration. As you mentioned, there are far more Visa debit there are far more debit cards in the market than credit cards, and you know, people are very, you know, these two last points kind of work hand in hand. People are very skeptical about online payments, you know, with security, with fraud and security issues around online payments. So you find that sometimes persons would rather pay via cash, sometimes persons would rather pay via bank transfer, sometimes persons would rather use their PayPal accounts to make the payment, you know, that is linked to their credit card, simply because of this skepticism, right? But as I mentioned here, based on the statistics that we outlined on the page before, you know, with 78% of persons having financial accounts, you know, that alone enables you guys to be able to sell to your customers, regardless. At the end of the day, having credit card penetration, having credit card payments being accepted as part of your sales process does make things a lot easier and allows you to automate a lot of things. But we have to be mindful of the context within which we operate. If we were operating in the US, Canada, UK, then this would have been not a problem. You know, these guys, they just swipe their credit cards and everything works perfectly. But in our markets, we have to be mindful of the state of mind of our shoppers, and also, you know, what their nuances are as it relates to how they prefer to make payments and do business online, right? We've also seen more recently a lot more scamming happening on social media, where there's a page that says they sell furniture, and you make a lump sum payment, and then all of a sudden there's no furniture coming forth. And when you do your background checks, you realize that this is a fake page and you're scamming people. You know, so there is a trust element to get over as well, where this is concerned. This is a challenge that we have in Jamaica. Fraud is a big problem here. I know it's a big problem globally, but we've seen it firsthand here in Jamaica, and I know it's catching on to other countries as well, right? So we have to be mindful, and you know, it poses a challenge to us as authentic and sincere business owners. But you know, we have to separate ourselves and show persons why they can trust us. I can tell you that internet business, that's one of the biggest hurdles to overcome, trust. And even in my own business, it's something that I do not play around with from a reputation perspective. I would rather lose on a transaction than have my trust compromised in any way, shape, or form, because bad news spreads much faster than good news. And that covers our overview. Do we have any questions before we get into strategy? No questions? All right, let's get straight into the strategy then. Right? Now, as we mentioned, guys, you know, before you can start implementing anything, you have to be able to put together a proper strategy for your business. And all of us here in this session will have to do it as part of our homework, right? And we have a guide that will help you to put that together, right? And we're gonna quickly walk through some elements of it at the end of the session to introduce you to the workbook, right? But the strategy is very important. As I say, everything has to lead, a strategy has to lead the direction of whatever you're executing. And without strategy and without thought behind, you know, how you're doing what you're doing, you can easily find yourself doing a whole lot of nothing, right? To be able to align, to get everybody to understand the core concepts being delivered by this program, we have created a business case, right? Which we'll be using as the reference point for, you know, a lot of things that we'll be talking about from our systems, promotions, perspective. In essence, what we've done here, guys, to create a business case that kind of touches on the main ways of doing business online, right? And I introduced it in our information session. And I'm going to go through it again, right? So we see Terry here saying that one of our concerns is more about logistics and shipping of the products. And we'll be touching on that, Terry. Gilbert is an expert in operations and logistics, and he has an entire module focused on talking about this. All right. All right, cool. All right, so Alistair, I see I have some more comments here. We're going to focus right now on the case study. So as I mentioned, the purpose of the case study is to ensure that regardless of which industry you're from, what type of business model you're activating, you are able to connect with the content that is being delivered in this program. In my own experience and in the experience of Caribbean Development Agency, when we undertake training, trainings with businesses, the biggest complaint is always that, you know, whether the training is focused a lot on products or on services or on big businesses, not small businesses, or vice versa. The purpose of this is to ensure that everybody can connect with the content in a reasonable time frame, in a reasonable manner, and to ensure that you guys can adapt these concepts within your own business, right? As part of the workbook, guys, you will also have to define your own case study for your own purpose of calling it what it is and recognizing where you are in your business. And also for your BSO to quickly understand where you are in your business, and even for us, the master trainers, who may be coming in to help you at different points in time, we're able to quickly read your case study and understand the general idea about your business, right? And we have a format for developing a case study, which I'm going to show you at the end of today's call, right? So Gilbert, I want you to just carve out, I just want to keep a time check for me. Let's ensure we leave at least 10 minutes at the end of the talk to just talk about the workbook, specifically zoning in on the case study today. All right.
All right, got you.
Let's reintroduce Kim's Beauty's case study today, and get into some strategy. So as we mentioned, case studies on Kim's Beauty, which we created for the purpose of this program. Kimberly is a certified beauty technician by Heart Trust NTA here in Jamaica. For the last 10 years, Kimberly has been working at a large hotel spa chain, providing beauty services to hotel visitors and bridal parties. Kimberly has grown tired of the 9 to 5 and has decided to open her own beauty business on Howard Cook Boulevard in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Kimberly has decided to provide beauty services and products to females in tourist town of Montego Bay. Her specialty is in equipping her female clientele with styles that make them feel trendy and confident. She has just completed the setup of her business place and she is ready to sell beauty services for hair, beauty service appointments for hair, nails, face, and body. Beauty products like lipstick, hair moisturizer, makeup, and nail polish. Raw materials that beauty service providers use when they are providing their services. Courses to females on how to choose and apply the right shade of makeup for their skin. Customizable wedding packages to female tourists who are having destination weddings in Jamaica. During Kimberly's time working at the hotel spa, she observed how they used e-commerce strategies and tools to efficiently run their business. Kimberly is about to launch her business and is trying to figure out how she can use e-commerce to develop, grow, and sustain her business while delivering value and achieving profitability. The setup is also trying to figure out how to set up her business to efficiently operate without her having to be there every day. How does she go about this? And I know the last point, the last thing that she's trying to figure out is what every single one of us here are trying to figure out, right? How is it that we can have our business run efficiently without us having to be there every day? One of the key things that us as entrepreneurs going to entrepreneurship for is for some control over how we earn and also how we use our time. But funny enough, we lose a lot of that control without even realizing it, yeah? And e-commerce is definitely one of those tools that can help you to gain that control back. So I want to highlight some of the strong points of Kim's Beauty and why it is crafted in the way it is crafted, so that when you're creating your own case study for your own business, you can do the same, right? Which is defining, the background of Kim's Beauty. What is it that she does? Where is she coming from with this thing? Where she operates is very important, because when we're thinking about promoting our business, location-based marketing is a very big part of e-commerce marketing, right? So we have to clearly define where our operations are running from. Eugene, you can go ahead and unmute. Lloyd, put your hand up. You can go ahead and unmute. Was that in error? We'll continue until Eugene gets the mic sorted, right? So as I mentioned, e-commerce marketing is very location based. And is that Eugene unmuted? I'm not hearing you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry about that. Yeah. What I wanted to let you know, when persons use the e-commerce platform as part of their business ID, the e-commerce platform, we in the Caribbean, we have a serious difficulty, because I, for example, decide to open a YouTube channel, but I realize there is no internet connectivity protocol that more or less unites us with other big countries like the US and Canada. So you find that we don't have no form of protection. There is some, unless we don't have that similar international protocol that allows us to have access to the internet, we will have difficulty doing business online. Because sometimes you open a YouTube channel and then you only get 4 views. I don't know if the Wi-Fi capacity, the internet control committee prevents us from getting views and subscriptions to our channel. So maybe if we in the Caribbean can have that very same internet protocols as those in those big metropolitan countries, then we have a chance to more or less do our e-commerce business successfully. But until then, we will struggle as a small third world nation, third world Caribbean region.
So help me to understand the challenge that you're having here, Eugene. You're saying that because of the internet connection, you're not finding that your YouTube channel is performing how it should?
not that connection, but because we don't have any standards, we don't have any more or less authority that controls our internet connectivity. You see, in America and those large countries, they have a certain internet connectivity protocol, but we in the Caribbean, we don't seem to have that same level of internet security and protocol authority. So you find that when we try to do e-commerce business online, whether it's print on demand, whether it's affiliate marketing, or growing a YouTube channel, you find we have very much difficulty because we are not recognized by those first world countries. We're not recognized since we don't have that protection that is offered to them for internet protocol and security. Okay. So unless we don't come aboard, we will not be on the same platform with them.
Right. Well, what I will say to that is that you are right. As I mentioned here, infrastructure is one of those challenges that we encounter here in Jamaica. So whilst we may have internet connectivity, you may find that what is referred to as 5G in the US, when they give us 5G out here, it's much slower than what it really should be, which does impact our users' experience. Even for instance, things like ranking on Google search. If you have a website that is always loading very slowly based on the feedback from other users, so Google curates information about everything, right? And let's say, for instance, in your country, your internet service may be very slow, for argument's sake. And because of that, you know, it takes a lot longer than normal to load your particular website, and your website is coming up with a loading speed of maybe say 20 seconds, 30 seconds every single time it starts to load. And automatically this will impact the way how Google shows your website to persons when they are searching. You know, these are things that are impacted. But I do believe that as we grow as a Caribbean, you know, some of these things are being addressed slowly but surely, maybe not at the pace that we want to. But it is for us to really find out, you know, what it is that we can do from our end to improve the way how all of that works for us within our own context. You know, if it is that you are selling mainly to international markets, then maybe promoting strictly to those markets may help in that regard. Because if it is that only persons from, let's say, for instance, North America are loading your website with those very fast internet speeds, you may find that, you know, choosing to do that may help with your website ranking. You get me? So if it is that you're finding that, you know, your particular area, your jurisdiction that you live in has certain capacity issues, limitations, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from targeting a different jurisdiction. You know, whether it is a different Caribbean country or a different territory as well. You know, but these are things to consider where that is concerned. All right. Well, thanks for that input there. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Leighton, let me jump in here a second.
Yes, sure.
So Eugene, the challenge that you point out here, right? When we look at the advent of the internet, and especially e-commerce in the United States, it was always a free market space, which allowed for challenges and advancement without the infringement of governments and certain policies. Your challenge within this space is not protocol per se, right? Or the lack of protection with certain protocols. That is definitely not the case in the United States, where a small person like myself can start up an internet, a YouTube channel, and because of certain protocol that protects me, that would allow me to flourish. The challenge is money and marketing. If you had the right type of marketing, and let me see who it is that made that comment earlier. Terry Henry made a comment about algorithms. These are very, very important things, right? Those are not policies set in place by any government agencies that would protect you. YouTube has those in place, right? So based on the content that you are developing and delivering to your audience, you have to now start marketing that, whether you're paying for improvement in the way that your videos are positioned, and over a period of time, you would pick up on more audience, a wider audience viewing. right? So there is no, again, the Caribbean as it is right now, you're right, there are no policies in place. But I see that as an advantage at this particular point in time that allows us to flourish, right? So it is not a hindrance. That is really not the hindrance here. The hindrance is how you position yourself within this space and the amount of capital that you put into marketing and having your videos meet the algorithms of YouTube. And again, I'm gonna make that association when it comes to retail or the service industry later on in this training. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, most welcome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for that input, Gilbert. And we'll definitely be talking about marketing and lead generation in later modules of this program, right? So we'll definitely be touching on some of these things. But thanks a lot for that input, Gilbert. Right? And as you hear Kevin George here saying that you also have to change your location in account settings for your platform to get a bigger reach. So there are tricks and of the trade. There are things that you can do to maximize your output and impact your outcome. It's really just a matter of you understanding what it takes to find success in this space. As it relates to YouTube as well, again, I know quality of videos definitely impact ranking, right? So these are things that you have to think about. And if we're not driving traffic, we just can't expect traffic to just come from out of nowhere. I have videos that I've posted on YouTube mainly for the purpose of just housing these videos and ease of share, because if I share a 30-minute video on WhatsApp, sometimes it may take forever to reach. So I'll just upload it on YouTube and share that link. And the views are very small because I'm not promoting it. I'm not expecting it to be picked up anywhere really. It doesn't even reach 100, right? But sometimes we have to mind your expectations and understand what it takes to get the results that we want. And at the end of the day, guys, this is the reason why we have programs like this, because at the end of the day, when you go out there and Google solutions to these problems, you get everything and nothing. There's no formulated approach that you're providing with that you can take to get a particular result. And we're not going to tell you that we're going to give you the formula for everything in this program, but we're definitely going to give you the formula for what it takes to drive e-commerce. Set up an e-commerce business and generate business for it, right? Let's jump back into the case study, guys. As I mentioned to you, in developing your own case studies, we want to understand the background of the business. We want to understand, the location of the business. We want to understand also a little bit about, the demographic of customers that you're looking to service and target. We want to understand a little bit about the products that you're selling and the different business models around your products. So in the case of Kim's Beauty, you'll see here where she's selling services by appointments. She's selling products that they can add to cart or just go into a store and pick up, right? She's also selling raw materials to beauty service providers. So she's doing B2B as well, not just B2C, right? She's also selling courses, which is different from selling services and products. And she's selling customizable wedding packages, which means that she's selling things on a quotation basis where she has some type of meeting, does some type of assessment, and provide pricing afterwards, right? These are all very different ways of doing business. And I'm sure that at least one of these business areas will resonate with the products that you sell to almost, if not everybody here on this session, right? So that's Kim's Beauty. And we have as I said in the workbook, we have a guide that outlines how you put together your case study. I'm going to talk about it at the end of this session. Choosing an e-commerce business model, right, is very important to understand, how are you selling and who you're selling to. So in the case of a Kim's Beauty, we can see here where it's clearly business to customer. Business to customer is where the customer, of course, buys directly from the business. B2B is where you're servicing, the business is servicing another business, right? But there are other business models like customer to business, which is similar to like your power company. Your power company provides electricity to its customers. But if, let's say, for instance, you have solar power being generated on your own property, and you have an excess, then you can always sell that back to the business. So this is where the customer is selling now to the business, right? Then you have consumer to consumer, which is where it happens in a lot of marketplaces where, let's use eBay as an example. eBay is a perfect example where I as a person who shop on this marketplace, I'm also selling things on this marketplace to other shoppers, right? That's an example of consumer to consumer. Then you have direct to customer, which is where a manufacturer tries to cut out all the middle persons and go straight to the end user, right? So they don't use any wholesaler, any distributor, or any retailer. They buy direct from the manufacturer, right? And they keep all the margins and that they can keep with this model. Then you have white label and private label, where you pretty much take a manufactured product from somebody and put your own brand on it, your own label on it, and sell it as your own. You will see this a lot in the beauty space, especially where hair selling is concerned. All of a sudden, everybody's coming up with their own hat, their own brand of hair. And what they're pretty much doing is that they've gone to China, found a manufacturer who makes hair, and says, hey, I want to put my branding on these products, and I'm going to sell them as my own, right? And you have wholesaling, which is where you sell products in bulk. So you're not selling a product one by one, but you're selling them in bulk, right? And then you have drop shipping. Now, drop shipping is the newest business model that has come to market, and it's becoming more and more and more popular, especially amongst young entrepreneurs, especially among entrepreneurs who do not have a lot of cash to invest in products or inventory. How does drop shipping work? Drop shipping is where you find a manufacturer or a provider of a particular product. You go out there and you market that product. And when you get sales for that product, you go to the drop shipper, buy the product from the drop shipper, and give the drop shipper your customer's address, and your drop shipper ships it directly to your customer. In this business model, you will never ever touch the product that you're selling, that you're drop shipping, right? It goes directly from the manufacturer or the seller of the product to the customer, right? And with this model, you want to be very careful, because at the end of the day, you could easily go on Amazon and choose to drop ship a product. So you go on Amazon and say, all right, I'm gonna start selling makeup, for argument's sake. And I found a makeup on Amazon for $50 for argument's sake. And I'm gonna sell it in Bahamas for $100. And I market it in Bahamas, I market it. And I get the sales, and as I get the sales, I order from the Amazon seller and have them ship it directly to Bahamas. Or maybe I ship it all the way to Europe. It doesn't matter where, you can drop ship to anywhere in the world. And that's a beautiful thing about it as well, right? One of the key things, guys, is that you want to establish a relationship with somebody who has drop shipping built into their business model. Why? Because drop shipping is now becoming a preferred business model for manufacturers to get persons to market their products. And in that setup, with that special drop shipping arrangement, the manufacturer ensures that your branding and your information is placed on our product packaging to the customer. Why is this important? If I am buying, let's say, for instance, let's use makeup. Makeup is a good example, because makeup finishes and you'll want to buy more at some point in time. If I bought makeup from Kim's Beauty, for argument's sake, and Kim's Beauty decided that they were going to drop ship this thing from Amazon, and the Amazon store, let's say the Amazon store name is John's Beauty and Supplies, for argument's sake. When you, the customer, receive this product that was drop shipped from Amazon, it's going to say John's Beauty and Supplies. And you're going to say to yourself, hey, I realize that Kim's Beauty is buying from John's Beauty and Supplies. Why don't I just buy from John's Beauty and Supplies and get it cheaper anyway, right? And this is why you want us to get set up with a drop shipper, because a drop shipper should put Kim's Beauty's information on the packaging so that when the customer receives it, it seems as if it was shipped directly from Kim's Beauty, right? Drop shipping is very beneficial to, I would say, startups who don't have the money to invest in inventory. It's a good way to test what people want before also investing in inventory. Because at the end of the day, the challenge with drop shipping is the time that you have to wait to get the product, right? If it is that you're drop shipping to customers in your own country, oftentimes they will want the product as quickly as possible, almost like you have it on hand. So you may choose to use drop shipping to test that product, but as soon as you realize that it is in demand, then you can actually invest in that product and stock it and then sell it directly to your market, right? So that's one reason why a lot of startups, a lot of small businesses use drop shipping. For me, I personally love it for the reason of being able to experiment. I can start selling something tomorrow without having any product in stock. And once I start getting the orders, then I can choose to restructure the way how I support that. And once I start stocking, then I can even try something with, I can try drop shipping another product type, and that's how I can build up my inventory. Understand? So drop shipping, guys, is a very powerful tool. It allows you to be very agile in how you sell your products and services, especially for retailers. Also, I want to highlight the fact that you as a manufacturer here in the Caribbean can allow persons to drop ship from you as well. So if it is that you are a maker of candles, if you're a maker of makeup, lipstick, then you can have persons drop ship from you, similar to how retailers would drop ship from a company in China or America, right? Hope that was very clear. All right, let's talk about the e-commerce business model canvas. As I said, this was developed from the concept of the lean startup canvas, which outlines the key considerations that you must tap into to be able to bring a business to market. Now, I see a question that I want to address before I jump into the business model canvas. Good question. How does it compare to affiliate marketing? All right. So affiliate marketing, I could have added affiliate marketing as a business model as well. I probably should have. I probably should update the slide to include it because it's something that persons do ask about this regard. Okay, I want to zoom in on this. Can we zoom in on this slide? I don't think we can zoom in on this particular slide. Is it that you're not able to see Gilbert, are you able to see the contents on the slide easily? Just checking.
Yeah, I can see that pretty easily.
I don't know if you're viewing on your phone, you can pinch and zoom your screen as well to make it bigger. If that works. I don't know if you're using your phone, Joseph, or if it's on your laptop. Okay. But if it's this particular slide, the texts are small for a reason. When we go to other slides, which are follow-up slides for this particular slide, you will see it much bigger. All right, so back to the question of affiliate marketing. How is it different from affiliate marketing? All right, so with affiliate marketing, okay, great. So we're on the phone. So with affiliate marketing, how affiliate marketing works is that I would have a product and I would say, all right, I'm looking for affiliates to sell this product. And how affiliate marketing works is that you would get a link to this particular product or catalog of products, and you go out there, you promote this link. And when anybody buys from that link, it will track the purchase to say that this purchase came from Eugene's link, right? And Eugene is to get the commission for sales that come from this purchase. And when the purchase comes through, the company ships the product to the customer, and after that, of course, they collect their payment, then they pay out a commission to the affiliate. So affiliate marketing is very commission based, right? And it's really just a marketing tool. It's not necessarily a quote unquote business model really, but it's more so a marketing model that allows somebody who has a product for sale to get other persons to promote that product and earn from promoting that product, right? So you earn commission from affiliate marketing, but with drop shipping, you mark up the product whatever you want it to be. So if, again, use an example of the makeup was bought from Amazon for $50, and Kim's Beauty decided that they were going to mark it up 100% to $100, right? And they sell the product. In the case of drop shipping, you, the company, own the customer. In the case of affiliate marketing, the company that you are an affiliate of is who owns the customer. You, the affiliate who is doing the marketing on behalf of the company, does not own the customer. Yes, the person purchased through your link, but tomorrow, if the person finds the company and buys directly from them, there's no commission that will be going to you. You understand? Unless it is that, let's say, for instance, the different affiliate programs have different structures, their marketing. So they may say, any purchase that comes from this customer within the next 30 days, will clicking the link will automatically be credited to you. So if they purchase once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, then the credit should go to you, right? And that's the main difference between affiliate marketing, right? Well, let's get into the e-commerce canvas, which again, as I said, outlines the key considerations a person must think of when you are setting up your business, right? All right, cool. Let's say CPA marketing is also another good one, right? So, but these are marketing tactics, as I mentioned, not business models. So, when we talk about the e-commerce business model canvas, so we have 9 sections of this canvas, and the following pages will speak specifically to each area. And as you will notice, they are numbered in order of the consideration. Again, the lean startup model canvas looks at it differently. But for us, we are e-commerce based. We're looking first and foremost at what is that we're selling and how we're selling it before we get into anything else, right? So what we are selling starts by looking at the value, the value proposition of the business that you're selling on behalf of, right? So in the case of Kim's Beauty, what is the problem that is being solved? What is the unique selling position for Kim's Beauty? And you need to understand what a unique selling position is, because a unique selling position is what differs your business from other businesses like it, meaning that you're operating in the same industry with many other businesses. How do persons identify you and separate you from everybody else? So why do persons choose you sorry, over your competitors? Is the thing that makes you unique, right? So in Kim's Beauty, the problem that she tries to solve is one where she helps women to feel trendy and confident. She don't just do hair. She don't just sell makeup, right? But she taps into that woman who wants to feel that particular way. And because of that, people who want to feel confident and trendy will gravitate towards Kim's Beauty, right? You have other places where you say, boy, them style, them old, or them frumpy, or, you know, it does not resonate with you as a young person, right? And of course, I'm sure that, you know, there are other competitors in the beauty space who will appeal to the older folks, right? And this is how we separate each other, each business from each other, right? The unique selling position helps you to identify what is different about you or why people come to you versus your company, right? So the problem that is being solved here is, as I said, helping women to feel trendy and confident. Pricing also weighs in to your unique selling position. Do you provide a cheap price? Do you provide a high price? I mean, sometimes we think that because something is expensive, we'll turn away from it. But no, if I'm going to buy a gold chain and I say the gold chain for $1,000, and I'm going to say, no, sir, something is wrong with this. Must be a pocket price or something. This is not right. Yes. So pricing does weigh a part in how persons see you. Are you providing a luxurious brand? Are you providing a high value product? Are you selling value? These are things that impact pricing, right? So in the case of Kim's Beauty, Kim's pricing model is one where She does a scalable pricing strategy based on the quality of products, service time, and complexity of the service required, right? So in this case of Kim's Beauty, we would say that Kim provides a reasonable price based on the value that she is selling, right? And in the case of value, as you say here, it's simultaneously matched with the price. So we can say that she sells different value at different price points to suit the budget of that particular shopper. And one of her value propositions as well is the matter of convenience. Her one-stop shop approach allows females to get all their beauty needs solved under one roof, right? So this is what drives the value proposition of Kim's Beauty and what helps persons to choose her over somebody else, right? I think I'm hearing a mic unmuted. I'm not sure. Did I just double check to ensure that your mics are muted? And I heard a little scuffling on in the background just now. Revenue streams, guys. How are we going to make money? Every business is in place to make money, and they have been saying that every business needs to have at least 3 revenue streams to be successful. Because you never know what will happen. Just COVID is a perfect example of that. Sometimes you just never know what will happen in a particular industry or a particular area of business that may compromise one particular revenue stream. So it's good to have multiple revenue streams, multiple types of products, and that persons buy in different ways, right? But when you're thinking about your business again, guys, again, we're thinking about the model of the business. We have to look at how are we going to make money, right? What exactly are we selling and how are we going to sell it? So in this case of Kim's Beauty, the revenue streams here are broken up into, pretty much 4 areas. You have products, which are the beauty products like lipstick, hair moisturizer, makeup, nail polish, raw materials that the beauty services providers use. You're talking about also courses that persons will sell, they will purchase on how to use the makeup, right? Then you're talking about potentially memberships or subscriptions. Do you sell a product that persons need to subscribe to get access to it? A membership or a subscription could be something like your internet bill, your cable bill, could be your gym membership, could be a particular service. So let's say, for instance, you're a graphic designer and you provide services to a company. You could have them subscribe to 10 designs per month. And you know that every single month they expect 10 designs, and every single month you expect X amount of money for that 10 designs, you know? That's not a model. In the case of Kim's Beauty, we're not using memberships or subscription, which is why we have left it blank, right? And you have the concept of bookings. Do you sell a bookable service? Do you sell a service that persons opt into for a limited time, right? Bookable services can be rooms, it can be even assets. Do you offer rentals of cars, equipment, any products? So your bookable service, your bookable product can be a product or a service, right? In the case of Kim's Beauty, it's a service, right? And then do you sell a product that requires a quotation? So for instance, the customizable wedding packages is a clear example of that. Are you in the construction space where you have to come and make an assessment of some before providing a price? Are you a mechanic where you have to assess a vehicle before providing a price? These are revenue streams that fit within the quotation model, right? So you see here where these are the primary ways of selling products, whether you're selling a regular product that somebody picks up off a shelf or adds to cart. Do you require some type of sign up or membership or subscription? Are you looking at bookings or are you looking at quotations, right? Have a think about these things when you're looking at your business. And at the end of the day, guys, I challenge you to come up with at least one additional revenue stream throughout the program, throughout the period of this program that may help you to secure future revenue. I love subscriptions and membership for that reason. In my own business, I have subscription-based products, and subscription money is easy money. It's almost like you set it, leave it, forget that. Well, you set it, leave it, and collect it. You don't forget it. Right? You set it, you leave it, and you collect it. And once persons are using the product or maintaining their subscription or membership, you automatically get paid almost for doing nothing. In the case of subscriptions, you oftentimes provide a product or service that persons have access to, and sometimes whether or not they access it, they still have to pay for it, once they want to keep it active. So for instance, I could be subscribed to my cable service and I don't watch TV for the entire month, but I have to pay it. There's no active work being done to make that money. And in this model, the more subscribers you get is the more your money increases incrementally, as long as you're not losing subscribers as well. So you have to ensure you're providing good value and the customers recognize that value that you're providing, right? And see sensible reason to continuously pay for this. Because as you know, this is now a new bill for them, yeah? Target markets. When we think about our customers, guys, this is honestly one of the biggest challenges that I find companies have with selling their products and services. Eugene, I almost guarantee you that this may be your biggest challenge with your YouTube channel. Understanding who your target market is, knowing where they are, what they're looking for, and when to reach out to them, right? Targeting is very important. There's somebody that is unmuted. Gilbert, can I help to find that person? I don't know who. Yeah, man, thanks. All right. So when we think about target market, guys, normally there is a general target market for your products and services. So in the case of Kim's Beauty, we said generally there are females between the age of 20 and 60. But we have a concept called market segmentation, which we're going to get into when we get to the lead generation, right? Which is where you have to define, or rather, define different areas within your target market that appeal to specific needs and products that you sell. So for example, going back to Kim's Beauty, the female who wants to walk into the beauty spa and get her hair done and have her makeup done and get a massage and feel good when she leaves may not be the same person who wants to do an online course where they do it themselves. You understand? So we have to define our market segments based on what we are selling them, right? So there is one, understanding your general target market that you go after. But you have to further define what your market segments are within that target market. So in the case of Kim's Beauty has really two main market segments. So she goes after females between a particular age, right? And of course, these persons are located in Montego Bay. So, but she is going after tourists who are visiting, who specifically we know will want those destination wedding packages, right? For beauty services. And she's also targeting local females who are resident or working in and around Montego Bay town who may want to tap into beauty services, right? And then she can even go even further into it where we say, all right, females who do not know anything about applied makeup or don't know the shade of makeup to use. Maybe these persons may be persons who are new to using makeup. So she may define those persons as maybe persons between 20 and 30, right? Because I mean females, I know females start using makeup at different ages, but let's say for argument's sake, the average female starts to heavily use makeup, say around 18 for arguments, as they come into adulthood, right? They may be experimenting for years with makeup before knowing exactly what works perfectly for them and what does. So she may choose to define a younger segment within her target market to go after that particular need and sell that need. Why is this important, guys? Because at the end of the day, when we're advertising, and we're going to go into this a lot more, when you're promoting on social media, when you're promoting on digital channels, you have to speak directly to the need of the customer to get their interest. Persons are scrolling through their phones and you have only a few seconds to grab their attention and say that, hey, this product may be for you. And the only ones that stick are the ones that persons resonate with. So when you're setting up your ads, you'll have to define which gender your ads are going to, whether male or female. Where are they located? You'll have to define also maybe their interests and things that are happening around their life. Maybe did they just graduate from high school? They just graduated from high school, maybe they're entered adulthood. Did they just have a baby? Or did they just get engaged and are about to get married? And when they arrive, they are primed for maybe a wedding package, right? These are further segmentations of your market. You have to break it down into that, right? But you first start with understanding what your general target market is. And then when you look at selling your different product categories, then you can break down market segments and go after them. So in the case of Kim's Beauty, the general target market, as you said here, is females between the age of 20 and 60, living in the tourist town of Montego Bay, who are looking to get beauty services done for them, whether it be throughout the year or during peak tourist season when first start here and want to get destination weddings done. Any questions on that? Any questions on that? All right. Let's continue to customer touch points. All right. So we know, we have a general idea of who our customers are. Now, where are we going to find these individuals? How are we going to reach out to them with the marketing message? Or we're going to connect with them? There are two general ways to connect with them. You can find them offline, you can find them online. And oftentimes when we think about e-commerce, guys, we only think about those things online. And I want to break that train of thought. At the end of the day, people are accessible offline just as much as, well, I'm not say just as much. People are accessible offline and online, right? We have to find the locations. Where do we find these persons so that we can get our marketing message out to them? In the case of Kim's Beauty, her offline touch points would be in the hotels. So if she can have some arrangement with the hotel front desk or with their wedding packages or with their wedding coordinator to offer their services to Kim's Beauty services to hotel guests, and that will be a good touch point for them, right? He's going right to the source to seek business from the tourists. Then she could look at tour locations because tourists come to the country to have fun. You know, outside of being in the hotels, they're gonna want to be out and about visiting different tours. And if you can have flyers, anything at all that gets a tourist attention to whatever you have to offer, then that may be very well as well. Then we're looking at restaurants, cafes, and bars, social spaces that persons will go into to have meals. And also, general target market are females. It's not quite specific outside of that. So once you are looking at females within these spaces, then these are touch point opportunities. And this is not only geared towards the tourists, it even touches more now on the locals. Where are your locals? Your locals who could be in and around these spaces, cafes, restaurants, and bars, right? You have flyers in these locations. These are offline touch points, and you could choose to have a flyer that talks about Kim's Beauty and where to find Kim's Beauty's location, or you could have a flyer that says, "Hey, check out Kim's Beauty for trendy and confident styles." And Kim's Beauty can be, and the only thing that is placed there for you to find Kim's Beauty is a website address. And this is where you integrate offline with online, right? Don't feel like because you are doing e-commerce, you should only focus on online. Even recently, I saw a mobile wallet here in Jamaica link being promoted at almost every single store location that supported the platform. You had a sign on the door, right? And right away, automatically, you're looking at them merging their offline approach with their online approach. Now, online, you can find these persons that Google searches. So if somebody's out there searching for beauty service providers, makeup, lipstick, beauty classes, wedding packages, right? Or you can also look at things that are aligned with beauty services. So let's use the example of what aligns with a beauty service. So maybe somebody is buying clothes, they're looking for a clothes store, right? Typical female these days, you know, they're dressed up, they're going out, they're gonna want to buy some clothes, they're gonna buy some shoes, and they're gonna want to look nice to go out. Yes, they want to get their hair done, want to get makeup done, and so forth. So you can also use search terms that are aligned with your industry, but not necessarily about your product, to get persons' attention when they're searching. And when we talk about Google search ads, we're talking about, for example, let me use an example here of a Google search. Let's look at travel. Let's use the word travel. Right away, you see an ad come up saying cheap ticket flights with these ads. These are search engine advertisements, right? That allow you to rank well. Then you have, again, see, we have at least 3 different ads being run at the top of the search. And then you have the Google My Business listings, which also show different businesses, local businesses based on the search term that you are looking for. And then you will have organically ranked businesses that are ranking on the website first page for that search term. And you know, this is how search helps persons to find your business. Right? So if it is that you are in the travel space, for argument's sake, you would either want to be running an ad or ensuring that your website is optimized to rank well here, or even having a My Google Business listing here to show up. And we're going to talk in depth a lot more about that when we get there. But I just wanted to highlight what we meant when we say Google search, right? So this is how persons search. And I will tell you flat out that the Google search lead is more likely to buy than any other, because they're actively searching for a solution to their problem. Then you have social media, where persons are scrolling through their feeds, whether that be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok nowadays, right? Persons are scrolling through their feed, just like when you're watching TV and an ad starts to play. It's very same concept, right? We're kind of doing like a mass media approach. Social media is kind of like the online version of the mass media approach, right? Then we're looking at travel websites, for argument's sake, in the case of Kim's Beauty, where because she sells a destination product, she don't want to have herself positioned, whether it be through an ad that the travel website facilitates or via a Google display ad. Google Display Network allows you to place an ads on their partner pages. So there are many websites that are built in with advertisements, with Google ads being placed. Your tabloids are popular options. So for instance, here in Jamaica, you have the Gleaner and the Observer, which are national newspapers. And the online versions of them, they are display spaces on their website for Google ads. If you run an ad in Google, it is like it may pop up in those spaces. And because there's already a lot of traffic to these media websites, then you would also benefit from that. And these guys actually sell ads on their website, right? So there's an example as well with news tabloids with Google search ads. And these are some of the ads. I don't know if you've ever been on a website before and then afterwards you start scrolling around somewhere as you notice that the ads are following you. All of those ads are generally in the placement of Google ad spots, right? So that's an example of it. Can be a normal website, can be a media website, can be a blog website, but a lot of them have the ability to display these Google placements in there, right? So these are some of the touch points that you want to be aware of where exactly you're going to find your customers. So we're talking about this, guys, in relation to Kim's Beauty. But while we're talking about this, I want you to be thinking about your own scenario. And if you have a challenge figuring out, what your touch point would be or how to localize this in your business, feel free to unmute your mic and ask a question. We're here to support you guys. I say we don't want this to only feel like a lecture, We want it to be an interactive discussion, right? Where we learn from you, and you learn from us. And you know what's the most important part about it? Your colleagues will learn from each other, right? You will be able to see, you know, an example of how you are doing what you're doing over there, and somebody else who is looking at me and say, oh, maybe I'm in a different industry, but I could try something like that and it may work for me. So please, guys.
I have a question.
Great.
Okay, so I just had an idea from what you said. I sell personal care products, like handmade products made with beeswax, local beeswax in Dominica. So it's a nice like product. I mean, they're effective products to use, like local people use them, but the way they're packaged and branded with Dominica, they're very good for like tourists to take home. Now I don't have a problem so much in reaching my local market, but I'm just wondering if there's a particular suggestion you can make for how I can target people that are visiting Dominica, like what sort of places I should think about putting the products, or just a way to target visitors. So it wouldn't be somebody like, because it's easy enough to target somebody who's living here, you know the kind of hashtag we use and things like that.
Tell me something. What problem does the product solve?
What's that?
What problem does the product solve? Like what is
Okay.
it for?
So
It's
for
on-
instance, okay, so for instance, I would have a natural deodorant, so which is very useful because you're coming to the Caribbean where you're going to sweat.
Right.
But you may want to make sure you're using a natural product that's eco-friendly, that's friendly for your body, and it's locally made.
Okay. Understood. All right. So funny enough, I'm working with a local business which has a very similar need, right? I just started working with them the last week, and I'm creating an e-commerce blueprint for them, similarly to what I'm bringing you guys through. And I'm going through the thought process as well. So it's a very timely question that's very top of mind for me. So with your setup, you would of course want to position yourself in the areas that tourists visit regularly. So whether it is in the tourist towns, if you have, let's say for instance, certain sites that they visit. So for example, here in Kingston, the particular company has a store in this location called the Devon House. The Devon House is a historical landmark here in Jamaica. It has some shops and those things, right? They're also located in the airport as well, you know, just to get a store and so forth. Some of the times you don't have to have an entire store. Sometimes you can just get your product on display in a space in this location, right? But that's
I already have them in, like, not everywhere, but I have them in some very strategic locations. Like
Perfect.
there's a gift shop in the local market, they're in the airport store. I'm just more thinking of like awareness building, like on an e-commerce level, because it's easier for people to find them physically.
Right.
But like, okay, so say somebody was just like looking, they're doing their research on coming to Dominica as a destination. That's kind of what sparked my idea of like, oh, I need to look at the websites that they're visiting and see if I can get my stuff on those kind of websites. So maybe that's just something that I need to just go and research.
So that's what I was going to next. So that's your offline location. Then online, what you would typically do in this case then is that you would look at, all right, so these tourists are coming to Dominica and they're going to leave from Dominica, right? One way, just one way right off the bat to increase your repurchasing is, if you already have a website, please put your website on your product packaging with the instruction that here you can, if you like the product, you can buy it again here. So that extends, that allows you to get more purchases from persons who have tried the product. And it's always easier to get purchases from existing customers and to get new customers to consider. So the first thing that I want to encourage here is that because you sell a tourist-based product, they're gonna come today and they're gonna leave tomorrow, and they may not come back for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. How do you get that person who have experienced your product to continue buying from you is by putting that call to action on the package and make it prominent, because you don't want, when you win a buyer or a customer, you want them to become a lifetime customer over time, right? So that's one way to get them to keep coming back. The next thing is that social media does offer the ability to target persons based on location. So you could choose to target persons who have just left the country, for argument's sake. I know it facilitates just leaving. I am not sure how well it does persons who have just arrived in the country. You understand? That is something I may have to do a little bit of research on, which I'm actually in the process of doing some additional checks, because social media changes so regularly. It's difficult sometimes to stay on top of what the latest capability is, right? But I know you're able to target persons based on those types of activities, right? Also keep in mind that if, let's say, for instance, normally in these, in most Caribbean countries, there's kind of like a hotel zone, right? That persons, tourists come to. So in Jamaica, there may be about 3 or 4 zones. In Dominica, what you'd want to do is to figure out where are these hotel zones and have ads target those particular zones. So when users are here, when visitors are in your country and are in those particular areas, they are more likely to see your ad. And you want to ensure, and this is where we talk about the market segmentation, right? You don't want to create a market segment and define that market segment as tourists who are in this particular area and are looking for Dominican-made products. Understand that? That's one of the things that I think as tourists, whenever we travel, when I travel, I always want to take home a piece of the country that I'm coming from, whether it be through some type of craft or some type of other product, right? You can make you can approach it from that perspective as a memorabilia, or you can even approach it as a from the point of bring home a gift for a loved one. You understand, something like that, and target it in that way. So you can use location-based marketing on social media to target those persons. I would say as well that if you want to use display marketing, you would use and this is what we call the Google display ads. You can run Google display ads on travel-related platforms. You get where I'm coming from? Take home a slice of or a piece of Dominica or something like that. You know, you will know how to term it, but that's the best way, I would say, to find those types of customers online, because as I said, they're there, they're looking for things to do, and they are in their travel apps. They're in they're Googling a lot. I mean, when I travel, I Google a lot. And just think about the different touch points, different ways how they interact with the country when they come, and just target those locations, you know. I hope that
Wait, let me just say something here. Hey, Terry, I'm here because I just love the Caribbean and the resources that we currently have, right? I'm here to promote Caribbean businesses. I love the products that you build, that you say that you're building. But I think it's not, the question that you ask requires a better case study. And it's going to come up as part of the workbook, right? Where we can take what you're trying to accomplish here and really focusing on that. It requires much, much more resources and thought than just having it post in this space and having it commented on in this manner. I'm happy to see the responses. I love the participation, but we can address this much better and give you a much more concise plan on how you take that product to the space that you need it to be. All right, so this goes for everyone. The other thing that I'm worried about is that everyone else is going to have an idea and have a question about how they market their product and wish to post it in this space. I'm not sure that would get the appropriate response that it actually deserves. So as much as I love the participation, if we could hold those questions about how do I move a product, or how do I best market, or how do I best position that product to when we get to that aspect of the workbook concerning your business, because your business would get that type of attention in this space. All right, love the comments, love the feedback, but it deserves better.
Yeah,
all right?
Definitely, and this is why we have the workbook, guys. to help you just to give you that, as I said, that blueprint approach towards these considerations. So, and this is why we, as Gilbert mentioned, you know, creating a business case allows us to highlight, you know, what the challenges are that we're trying to overcome and so forth. So when you're writing up that your business case, please highlight that specific challenge so that we can address it as master trainers and also through your BSOs, through your BSO engagement, right? But this is how I want you guys to be thinking, guys. Think about the topics that we're going through as we're going through them within your own local context. Feel free to make jottings on your end with questions that you want to have answered, so that when we're going through the workbook exercise and so forth, we can have those considerations being met. All right, cool. Love the activity in the chat, guys. Keep that up. So I'm moving now to customer relationships, right? So as you mentioned, guys, that you know, we're zoning in on the key consideration. Let's say we haven't really gone too much into e-commerce as yet, but we're talking about the key considerations that we need to ensure that we have covered, at least understanding what we need to think about and how we need to consider it when we're engaging in an e-commerce business model, because every single decision that we take from here will come from some area of this strategy. All right, customer relationship.
Later, and before you go on, sorry.
Yes.
I just want to alert everyone when we take a little break, I'm going to ask each of you to turn on your cameras and smile so we can take a screenshot of everyone participating. We're going to send out a blog about today's event. So I'm just letting you know so that if you have to do a little prep for the photo, you can do so. All right, thank you.
We're gonna take a break at which would be 12:45 your time to allow for questions. But at the beginning of that break, we can take the pictures first and then jump into the questions.
Right. So maybe say 12:40.
45 or 40, whatever works for you, between 40 and 45 later, and this is your session.
All right, great. Thanks.
All right, guys. So customer relationships now. It's important to understand what type of customer relationship will work best for your business when you're thinking about it in an online sense, right? So in the case of you know, providing your services, generally you have mainly, I would say, two different types of customer relationship engagements. Oftentimes it's either a self-serve manner or a personal service. And when I say self-serve, it means that the person really does helps themselves. So, you know, just like, oh, for instance, you can go to the market, right? You can go to the market and you go to somebody's stall and they will tell you to just pick up what you want and they will give you a price. And another vendor may choose to say, I will take it up for you and then give you the price. You understand? That's really the difference between personal service and self-service. If you think about, for instance, a banking engagement where there's an agent or a customer service agent to support you, that's more like a personal service, you know? So when you're thinking about your engagement with your customers and what best suits your business model from what will help you to get the most out of your customer, you have to determine what type of engagement works best. So for instance, once you're selling a product, oftentimes retail use self-service a lot for their engagement, because if you walk into any retail store, typically you would pick up what it is that you want to buy and then go to the cash register to complete your purchase, right? And that's pretty much you helping yourself, similar with the supermarket and so forth, right? But in the case of, let's say, for instance, going to Kim's Beauty to get a beauty service done, it's a personal service. Somebody's attending to you from the minute you start to access the product or service, right? Similarly with makeup, you could choose to buy the makeup or you could choose to have the makeup applied. If you're going to be buying the makeup, that could easily be bought by themselves. And sometimes we sell some products, guys. I mean, I'm going to get into the more complex business models now. We sell some products that are highly complicated and need somebody to need some explanation for somebody to understand what they're buying. So in the example of the beeswax product, for argument's sake, I may hear about something like, what is that product? What is it good for? How does it help me? I may have these types of questions, and because I have these types of questions, I may need some personal service. So there's this health store that I oftentimes buy products from. Whether it is, you want a natural soap, or you want to get some vitamins or anything like that, and they have a retail outlet where you can go in, you can walk in, you can pick up whatever you want, but they have some floor attendants that are there to provide you with that personal service. Why? Because they know that sometimes people will come in and have a general idea of what it is that they need, but they may need some assistance in making the right decision to suit their particular need, right? And that is where personal service comes in. Personal service oftentimes helps to either guide the customer along the right purchasing path, helps to provide more information to the customer about what they're buying and to make better decisions, or sometimes the service just, the buying process just needs somebody to handle some elements of it for them. So maybe signing up for a bank account would be an example of a process that requires some hand holding, right? When you're representing your business online, it's going to be no different. You set up an online catalog with your products on display. Somebody can go online, add the product to cart, and check out. That's self-service, right? In the case of my own business here, where I provide technology solutions, I cannot allow the customer to choose what they want, because oftentimes the customer is not an expert, does not have enough expert information to make those types of decisions. So instead of having them go online and add something to cart or sign up for something, what we do is that we have them fill out a lead generation form. When they fill out that lead generation form, it comes into our sales reps. Our sales reps call the customer, have a conversation with them, and then provide a quotation to them for which they can choose to pay by a bank transfer or a credit card. I mean, we don't take cash here, so we definitely require some type of electronic payment to be made. That's a more personal service, You guys could see yourselves based on your business. You can choose which service best works for you, and you can also choose to use a hybrid of those services. So because of that, sometimes persons will want to set up live chat on their website because they want to be able to answer questions, to be able to give customers the option to get more clarity. I will tell you that having live chat and these easily accessible support tools on your website does increase buying confidence, because it allows the customer to feel as if they need help is just one click away. Support is just one click away. But I oftentimes caution persons against using live chat if you do not have the manpower to support it. Live chat requires persons to respond within seconds of the contact being made. I mean, you can use a bot in between to ask the preliminary questions, but once it kicks over to the agent must be ready on screen and be willing to attend to the person. They cannot be on a bathroom break, they cannot be gone for lunch, they cannot be staring at their phones, So because of that, a lot of times persons try to integrate live chat into their website as part of the personal servicing option. I highly recommend that if you're not able to leverage live chat in that manner, use WhatsApp. Use a WhatsApp bubble on the website, right? Where persons can reach out to you via WhatsApp. Why WhatsApp? Because persons are used to having some type of delayed communication from WhatsApp. They expect that if you WhatsApp somebody, it's okay if they respond 10 minutes later. Even okay if they respond 30 minutes later, you can stop an auto response, say, hi, thanks for reaching out. We usually respond to these messages within 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. You can determine what your response time frame is, so you can manage that expectation. But I'm simply mentioning these solutions to you as part of how you can leverage internet tools on your website to also add a personal service touch to your offering. So in the case of Kim's Beauty, persons who typically buy the products, whether it is raw products or beauty products, through the shopping cart, you add it to cart, you check out there, move on. Same thing with the course. But when it comes to beauty services and weddings, they would more require a personal service for this element of it, unless it is that you're an existing customer and you already know what you're buying. Maybe you're buying the same hair wash style and cutter or something like that, and you know what the prices are. But we also know that pricing can sometimes be subjective to the size of the work that needs to be done, and sometimes not all pricing options can be placed on your website for persons to execute in a self-serving manner. Because of this, oftentimes you'll have to consider personal service as part of your engagement method. So, you know, you will notice that it's the same thing as offline. It's just a matter of digitizing the process and managing how it is executed, right? Okay, so I continue with that. So chat is still going on, no problem. That wasn't a question for me. All right, distribution strategy. Now let's talk about distribution strategy, because this impacts the types of systems that you may choose to execute on your website, right? Now, when it comes to distribution strategy, oftentimes we think, all right, we get this product and we're going to sell it, but we're not quite thinking about, all right, how are we really going to get this thing out there, you know, in the fastest possible time? And this is where the marketing tactics normally come into play. And sometimes the innovation in how we sell our products, right? So in the case of Kim's Beauty could have sales reps who are processing orders when persons walk in. So like maybe a store clerk. Then she could also have some type of referral system in place, because I believe that most of the persons in the beauty space, you know, work through referrals. Somebody sees a nicely done hairstyle, a nicely done makeup, and I say, who did your makeup? Who did your styling? And you know, you tell them about that particular person. So that would be common place for Kim's Beauty to use sales reps and some type of referring system to get persons to buy more products, right? Now, similarly, with your website, you could set up your website with sales agents in the back end of it, whereby persons can sell your products, put in orders manually for you, and track their commission based on the sales that are being made. And also, if it is that your business can support is supportive of using sales reps, and you can use that methodology to drive your distribution strategy, right? Then some persons may choose to look at partnerships. So for example, getting your product into a particular store, or allowing persons to sell what you're offering as part of a bigger service. So let's say, for instance, you're in the let's say, for instance, in the case of Kim's Beauty, she may choose to partner with hotels and say, all right, for all your guests who need beauty services done, we want to be the primary service provider. That's a good example of a partnership for Kim's Beauty. So we're actually going to put yes for that, for Kim's Beauty in this case, because that can definitely work for her, right? Oh, hold on, I just realized I'm back out of presentation mode. Let's get back in it so it's bigger for everybody. Yes. All right. So partnerships definitely can work. Now resellers would be a good example of resellers for Kim's Beauty. Would be maybe persons who buy her products at a cheaper rate, so maybe a wholesaler, a reseller, somebody who buys your product and marks it up. You have those persons as well who may buy her raw materials and create products from them and sell them, right? As we mentioned, referrals. Now, the beautiful thing about websites and e-commerce is that you're able to actually add referral systems to your e-commerce website. And how the referral systems work is that normally it works with some kind of points and allocation, right? So if it is that, let's say, for instance, I'm referring somebody to Kim's Beauty, I could have a link on my account for Kim's Beauty's website, and I can share that link with as many friends and family members as I want to. And if persons complete a purchase by clicking on that link, automatically it may identify that, all right, this person needs to receive X number of referral points, and those referral points can then be used back towards purchasing a product. You understand? So the referral points end up being money that can be used on the website to purchase back from Kim's Beauty. And we have good referral systems that are able to track and manage that, right? Similarly as well, you can use things like loyalty systems as well. So referral and loyalty kind of works hand in hand. But in the case of loyalty, it is the case where the customer, through continuous shopping, gets money back or points back that can be used to purchase future services or products from the company. The benefit of having a loyalty system is that it keeps the customer shopping with you. So instead of going over to Carlene's Beauty next month, you stay at Kim's Beauty because that's where you're earning your points. I will tell you an example of somebody who does that very well. Expedia and the travel industry uses points very well to their advantage. I'm an Expedia user. Whenever I travel, I use Expedia to book every single thing because I don't want to risk booking something over somewhere and lose out from gaining points from that spend. Oftentimes when you're traveling, you know, there are some little things that pop up that may be convenient to you, whether it is maybe a bus pass, maybe it is a train pass, you know, for 7 days or something like that. And oftentimes it's the points that you have gained through your travels that will allow you to buy something that is for free, you know. So these are a good example of a loyalty type of approach that allows that keeps the customer buying from you and you know keeps your product in demand with the same customers, right? As we mentioned as well, affiliate programs, as we talked about that more market distribution strategy, and we explained affiliate programs earlier where you can have persons share affiliate links and earn commission from that link. So, you know, when you think about, you know, promoting these travel, I think in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, we've been seeing a lot more travel affiliates popping up. I don't remember the name of the parent company, but I've seen quite a number of travel affiliates popping up where they are competing with travel agencies and making bookings on behalf of persons. And it's almost like they're starting their own travel business without having to acquire a travel license or the necessarily different enablers that the normal travel agent would have to go through. I think a travel agency would have to register with probably like the tourism agents to be able to do these things. You know, affiliate programs are enabling persons in the travel industry to sell inventory, sell air flight, sell flights, sell rooms, sell tours to persons just by being an affiliate of an international travel company. You know, so that has been pretty much working. We talked about drop shipping earlier as persons drop shipping from you. So for example, Kim's Beauty is making her own makeup, her own lipstick, her own products. Then she can have persons drop ship from her as part of her distribution strategy, getting her products out here in a faster manner. You know, it's not every single time that our sales team, our sales rep have to sell every single product. We can have persons selling products on our behalf, and these are some of the different ways to go about it. White label, we also talked about that, where you buy from a manufacturer and you put on your own labeling onto that particular product, right? And these are some key distribution strategies that persons can explore. And, you know, depending on the type of product that you sell, you can use them. So for instance, in my business, I've been exploring with resellers, something that I'm still, you know, putting some nuts and bolts on, but it works because I remember when COVID hit and our local Ministry of Healthcare wanted to use a particular product, SMS, to send text messages to persons around signing up for the vaccine. Our company did not have a direct relationship with the Ministry of Health, but our customer did. And our customer packaged our solution into their offering to the Ministry of Health. And because of that, we earned millions of dollars. It's one of the things that actually helped to keep our business afloat during COVID, through that with reseller relationship, right? So resellers can be very good, partnerships can be very good. Any of these models that you choose to execute can be very beneficial to growing your business and helping to thrive, right? Let's get back into some key sales activities. Include. So what I like to do is I like to break up sales activities. Oftentimes, when we're thinking about marketing and sales activities, we only think about promotion, right? We want to think about, all right, which campaign, which special, what can I offer to the customer to get them to keep on shopping, right? I like to break up sales activity into 3 categories: ongoing, seasonal, and campaigns. What do I mean by this? If you want to drive brand recognition to grow your brand, to allow persons in the space to know about your brand, then you want to have some continuous campaigns running where you always maybe running a particular social media ad. In my business, we never stop running search ads because we find that because we solve problems too. We provide solutions to people's problems. We want to go where persons are looking for those problems. So in my business, I never ever stop running search ads, right? I use KFC for an example here in Jamaica as well. Whether business is good or business is bad, there is always an ad about KFC and the business. I'm not promoting any particular product, just promoting the brand of KFC, right? So it's nice to organize your activities based on this. You have something that are ongoing that you just buy. Maybe you buy the advertisement for the year or your budget for the year. I know that no matter what, come rain or shine, we are running these advertisements or running these campaigns, right? Then you have more seasonal campaigns that are occasion based. So for instance, Valentine's Day is coming up. If you sell a product that appeals to Valentine's Day, then you're going to want to have some campaigns around that, right? If you sell products that are related to Easter, in Jamaica, bun and cheese is a big thing during Easter. So, our local cheese manufacturer, Tasty, sells majority of their products throughout the year during Easter. In Christmas, those bakeries who make lovely Christmas cakes, they make majority of their money during that season, right? You have Father's Day, Mother's Day, holidays like Independence Days, Emancipation Days, and all these national holidays and so forth that you can also utilize to sell a particular product. In the region, we have different carnivals that are going on. We have Jamaica, Trinidad, and there are many carnivals right across the region. There are certain products. So again, if you're in the beauty space, carnival is one of those occasions that you want to target, right? And then you have sales campaigns that you may have to really offer deals and specials, which are different from a seasonal and ongoing campaigns. If you want to, maybe you have some old stock and you want to get rid of it, but you want to get as much money from it as possible. You may have a BOGO sale, a buy one, get one. Maybe have a 50% off or a 10% off, or different campaigns that just get increased consideration for your brand, right? So these are the types of activities that we normally encourage persons to look at when you're looking at your digital sales activities, organize them and categorize them like this, and you will be able to see your marketing calendar, your sales activity calendar in a much more meaningful way, right? So if this is a question, let's check in the chat. No, all right, very good. All right, cool. Oops. All right, so we have our last 2 slides. The first one is cost structure. One of the things that we want to be very mindful of when we're setting up our online business is, what is it going to take for us to do this? And of course, we have to do this as well for our offline business. But when it comes to online, we have to think about, these are the considerations that we have to make. All right. So when we think about e-commerce, we have to think about banking and infrastructure rather. So, whether you're going to be collecting credit card payment or bank transfer or cash, the money has to go somewhere. So who are you going to bank with? Are you able to use a personal account to collect these funds, or do you need a business account based on the volumes that you're doing and the stage in business that you're in? Of course, we always encourage persons to get their businesses registered and to get their business accounts, but we know that some people have to do what? They have to nail it for them scale it. So some people oftentimes start with their personal accounts and not register the business just to get off the ground, to test to see if this is a viable business option before investing further into it, right? So you have to determine how are you going to structure yourself from a banking and infrastructure perspective, right? So who is going to be a financial partner? What type of accounts are you going to be using? Are you going to be getting a merchant account from your bank where you get a POS swipe machine? Will you be getting a payment gateway from your bank so you can collect payments on your website? What will you need to keep your office and systems going. You know, what systems do you need? Are you going to be using a full-out website? Are you going to be adding some marketing tools to do some automation with that? What systems will be required to make that work? Where will you host your website? What will be the cost of that hosting look like? You know, security. How are you going to secure your website and what costs come with that from a system perspective? I think that you'll have to consider. Inventory. Again, if it is that you sell physical products, will you be stocking inventory or will you be drop shipping? If it is that you sell a particular service, what is the cost to build capacity to provide that service? If it is that you're in the beauty space and you need blow dryers, hair dryers, spa type equipment, what exactly is it that you need to provide that particular service are things that need to go into your cost structure. Because at the end of the day, guys, all of these things will determine your pricing and how long it will take you to recoup your initial investment in getting your business up and running, right? Then you have to think about people. What type of people do you need? Do you need a sales team? Do you need a support team? What kind of operational needs do you have, and how will you structure your team around that? How will you also handle the admin aspects of your business? Are you going to be the one to handle it, or will you be hiring somebody to do that on your behalf as well, right? Again, another consideration. And then think about promotions. How are you going to market your business? How are you going to be creating video content? Are you going to be creating graphics? Are you going to be creating GIFs? Are you going to be running advertisements on social media, Google search? Where are the ads going to be run, and how much is it going to cost? These are things that you typically have to consider when you are looking at bringing your solution to market. And then finally, for today, is your fulfillment process. How are customers going to get your products after they have purchased? And this can be a very big challenge depending on where you are and who you serve, right? But is it that your products are going to be shipped locally, or are they going to be shipped regionally, or are they going to be shipped internationally? In most cases, we can find ways to get our products to persons locally. In most cases, that's where we can find ways to get our products to customers in the big markets, Americas, Canada, and the UK. What I know is a very big problem is getting our products across the region to other Caribbean countries, which is a little bit crazy because we're beside each other. Yet we're finding it much easier to get the products to persons much further away and within our own territory, right? But it is the uniqueness of our market and our jurisdiction. But we have to figure out these things. When we think about even our local options, are we going to be allowing persons to buy online and pick up in store, or are we going to allow them to be delivered wherever they are in the country? You know, it's that you're going to be like, for instance, at Jamaica, which is seen as one of the bigger Caribbean countries. We normally look at our delivery in sections. So for instance, if your business is based in Kingston, then you would want delivery, a cheap delivery option for round town, for in-town delivery, versus if you're going to be shipping your product on the end of the island. These are things that you have to consider, which delivery partners you are going to use to deliver the products and services, and what rates are they going to charge to deliver that product, right? In the case of a service, what is it going to take for you to deliver the service to the customer? In terms of Kim's Beauty, these guys are getting beauty services, right? So of course you're going to need technicians. How long is it going to take for each hairstyle or each style to be done? What does that mean for the capacity of how many services you can turn out in one day? Are things that you need to consider, right? In the case of selling digital assets, whether it be like an ebook, a guide, music, anything that's digital, typically it's sold by a download, right? But at the same time, how do you ensure that your downloadable asset or your asset is protected? Is it that you will allow persons to download the product and then just share it with other persons who they want to expose it to? Or are you going to be having persons access the product in a secure space, meaning that If it's an ebook, it is on the website and they have to log in to read it or view it or interact with it. You understand? What does this mean for you on future sales? It means that the product is no longer printable, shareable, or downloadable, which also secures future revenue of a project that I'm working on right now for a client in Florida who has a product that is built that it's a template, an Excel template on tracking your finances, and she's making a lot of money, being very successful at it. But at the same time, because currently persons are able to download the product, it is significantly impacting her future cash and future sales. So no longer will with a family member say, hey, buy this product from such and such person, instead of saying, hey, I got this really cool tool, I can share it with you. And right away, it prevents her from getting another sale. And whilst her business is doing well, she's now ready to expand and get investors. And the first thing investors are asking is, how are you going to be securing your future revenue? And protecting your downloadable assets is one of those key things that you have to be looking at when you're looking at selling digital products. All right. You're looking at virtual delivery, which in the case would apply to the course. Person signs up online and they're able to access the course content by logging in and going through the content. That's a protected asset, and the customer just gets access to it through those virtual channels, right? And this pretty much covers the last area of the business model canvas. As you'd have seen, we went through all 9 sections of it and the key considerations that need to be made. We will typically, what I will do after this is to go through the workbook that we'll be sharing with you guys. At least the first module that covers this area, just to show you how to fill it out and how to apply it to your own circumstance. Before we jump over there, are there any questions at all at this point in time? Sharing screen. All right, so we have the VEAP workbook here. Hold on, am I on the right? Yes, I am. All right, guys, so my screen is on, my mic is on. Gilbert, hear me? All right, right? Let's double check.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, cool. All right, so as we mentioned, guys, so we've prepared this workbook directly in line with the contents that we would have covered under each module, right? Of course, you see here where all 8 modules are being represented, as well as we're adding your case study to the representation, right? So we're going to be sending all of this over to you guys, and pretty much what we're going to ask you to do here is to create your own case study. I'm trying to figure out how I remove this. How do I get this to go all the way up? No. All right, let's put it at the bottom for now. Maybe that will help. Keep it simple. All right. Right. So we talk about doing your own case study, right? So pretty much what we want you guys to do, you'd have seen the example of Kim's Beauty, and we want you guys to create your own case study using this kind of format. And these are just bullet points just to give you some ideas about how to define the background of your business, how to describe the current state, and also how to describe your ambitions or problems that you want to solve, right? At the end of the day, you'll have noticed here that, in Kim's Beauty, we talk about the background of the business, the specific locations. We need to know where your businesses are physical. When I say location, I mean the exact location. It doesn't have to be coordinates, but at least the town that you're operating in within your country, right? We want to know the general target market. So you'd have heard us talk about earlier about market segments. I'm sorry, you'd have heard us talk about the general target market, and then you'd have heard us talk about individual market segments. We're going to leave it market segments for when we get to our lead generation section, right? But for now, we wanted to focus on getting your general target market in, and also just describing your unique selling position. Your unique selling position will help us to understand how you differentiate yourself, or even how you see your business. As you mentioned, businesses all fall within a particular industry, and oftentimes, if you bundle them all together, they may look kind of like each other, but every single business is unique, and every single business has an angle or a reason that they put out there for why a person should choose. And we want to know what is your value proposition as well as part of that, right? Then of course, I also want to know the current state. So I want to know what exactly is that you sell from a product category perspective. We don't need to know every single product, but at least how you categorize them. We want to know what available resources are there to support your business. So whether it is you have a sales team, you have a website in place already, where are you financially in terms of from a structure? Do you have a registered business? Do you have a bank account? Things like that. Then we want to know what is the ambition? What do you want to, what's the problem that you want to fix, or where do you hope to go from here based on where you are, right? Is it that you want looking to get more sales? Are you looking to enter new territories or expand within your current territory? Are you looking to increase your team? Are you looking to build the capacity to do more? Are you looking to increase efficiency, right? And then we will tackle together how is it that you solve that problem, right? So that covers your business case. Is there any question on how to define the business case? Any question at all on how to define the business case? No? All right, great. I hope that we will all knock it out the park, yeah? All right, then we'll get into your business model strategy. We want to know, how do you classify your business? Are you a B2C? Are you a B2B? Are you C2B? What exactly are you using? And if you're using multiple versions, all you have to do is put yes beside each one, right? Very simple. All you have to do is put yes beside each one for this particular tab. And then we get into the 9 sections of our business model canvas, which we just went through a while ago, right? So we're going to want to know what is your what's your value proposition, and how is it defined? Problem solved. How do you see your pricing? Is it that you price for cheap? Do you price based on value? Are you on the luxury end of pricing, so you're very expensive? And also what exactly is the value that you provide to your customer? Oftentimes value and pricing is related. Nothing is wrong with that if it's a little bit repetitive. At least just a zoning on what the value is, right? And also, how do you see convenience as part of your engagement with your customer, right? And the value for your business. And again, similarly, same thing again, revenue streams. What revenue streams will you be tapping into? Are you going to be a product-based seller? Are you using memberships and subscriptions? Are you using bookings? Are you selling services that require quotation, right? Exactly how are you going to make money is a question that we're asking here. Then we're going to tap into target market. Who best values the product that you're selling? Define that, right? And I think we're going to just make a slight adjustment to this document by making this a little more tabular. We put it on a table so it's probably a little bit more organized. But we'll do that before you get it by later this evening. Then we're going to ask, where can your customers be found? What exactly do they need? And when do they buy? What exactly do they need? Kind of helps to figure out, why do they buy from you? Why you? What exactly is that they need from you? And also, the reason we want to focus on that need is because we want to tap more into that need. Oftentimes, we have different types of products, different product categories, but we have this particular category that sell more than others. And instead of investing more in that particular category, we're always trying to find new things and innovative ways. Oftentimes, the best thing, guys, is to get the most out of the existing need. When you maximize that, then you tap into more, right? I think we as entrepreneurs are suckers for shiny things, new things, things that are exciting, and the new and innovative products that we bring to market oftentimes take over our attention. We want to focus on what has been working and maximize that, right? So we definitely want to tap into what the need is for that particular customer, and we want to know when they buy, right? If you know anything about sales, sales is all about timing. want to know when are the times of where that customers buy, right? So we can help you to get more out of that. Then we're going to touch on the customer touch points that we just talked about. Where do we find them offline? Where do we find them online, right? Customer relationships, again, what are you going to use? Are you going to use a self-serve model? Are you going to use personal service or both, right? Distribution strategy, we just talked about this. What kind of partnerships, sales reps, resellers, what are exactly is working for your business and how you can leverage them, all right? Then I want to talk about key sales activities, what's ongoing, what's seasonal, and what are going to be your campaigns. Again, everything is coming from this slide that we just did a while ago. So you're literally going to be just filling in all this information for yourself. What are the costs? What are the things to consider from a cost perspective? Banking infrastructure, inventory, people, and promotions. Again, we just completed this on fulfillment. What fulfillment options are you going to use for your business? And this should have completed your completion of module 1's workbook, right? And this is your homework for this week, guys. We expect that throughout the week, you would have completed this and you will come ready next week to talk about the other areas of your your business, which gets now into pricing and revenue, right? For us to get into pricing and revenue, we need to get a better idea of what is that we're selling to, and how all of this is going to work from a business perspective. Are there any questions on this area of the workbook?
Hi. Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
How are you doing? Good day to everybody. Very interesting presentation today. Hi. One of the things that I'm concerned about, I do not have a website. What I'm asking is, what's the comparison to a website versus social media pages? I have found I don't have a website, so I can't say compare it to a website. I have a Google presence and all of that, and that does well. But I have found that having social media pages has done more for me in advertising, has done very well for me in advertising. Getting into e-commerce, is it that I must have a website to participate, to transfer to my business onto the e-commerce?
All right, so you ask a very good question, and a question that I believe that most persons need to understand. Where does what fit? At the end of the day, as I mentioned at the beginning of the engagement, that the e-commerce approach can take many formats and many directions, right? It is normal for persons to start with some type of social media presence, which you have, and seemingly successfully so. You mentioned the Google My Business, which is also a good way for persons to find you from a ranking perspective. So if persons are searching out there for you, then they can either find your Instagram or your Google business page. Now the website is a little bit different in that a website, so your Google and your Instagram and your social media page are great marketing tools for getting visibility, allowing persons to reach you as well with communication. But it is very manual, meaning that persons would have to reach out to you via your Instagram or your Facebook page, send you a message, you respond to them, you communicate what it is that you sell, the price and all those things, and you make payment arrangements. Similarly with the Google page, persons will search for you online, you will rank well, they will find you, and you will be able to, they will be able to call you, find your location, see your reviews. I don't remember if Google supports emailing as one of the contact functions, but the key contact areas, for you to wake up in the morning and see leads in your pipeline, or let's say for instance have customers filling out forms, whether it is that you sell a service or waking up with product sales being completed, you need something that is more structured and something that can better represent your business. So your website is oftentimes used to be the digital face of your business. What do I mean by this? Just like how if you have a physical store, persons can walk into your store, have a conversation with you and all of those things, make purchases and leave and come back. Your website is kind of that, it's kind of the same. It allows you to represent your business visually in a professional manner. It gives persons a lot more confidence that you are serious about business. So just like if you walk into a store and it looks shabby, you're gonna be like, what kind of place is this? But if you walk into a store that is well decorated, smells nice, and has a smiling attendant, it's very different. You know, a social media page shows that, all right, so there's a business that exists, and you know, it may be doing well, but is it of a certain standard to attract a certain type of business? Will a business on a social media page alone attract a multi-million-dollar contract for a year from a particular supplier or a particular customer? I don't know. I can't say yes or no. But what I will tell you is that when you have a website behind it, your website allows you to better explain your product or services, allows persons to do some self-servicing, which you can't do on your social media page. So persons can add product to cart and, you know, pay for it. Of course, you can choose to get a payment link only to collect payments from credit card if payment is your biggest headache. And you can add that payment link to your social media page so that when you communicate to your customer saying that, okay, I sell XYZ at this price, if you're interested, these are the specifications and this is where you pay, right? And you can send in that payment link and all will be well with the world. But that is it. What our website allows you to do is to do things at a much larger scale. It allows you to also start tapping into things like marketing automation. How do you automatically market and remarket to customers who have visited your website, and also allows you to start tapping into customer actions? Customer visited our website and is leaving. Do we show them a pop-up that gives them a special? How do we get persons into a mailing list where you can automatically reach out to them in a timely manner? A website just allows you to do so much more than a social media page. But a social media page I would consider to be an entry level way of getting into business. Getting a website is like bringing your business to the next level. So it's almost like it started with a little stall on the roadside, but now you actually build a business place. You know, that's the analogy I like to use. Shunella, well, I hope that question was answered adequately.
Hi, good afternoon. I just wanted to also add to your very good explanation what my take is on the importance of a website where social media is where you would engage. But if I can recall, maybe it was a year and something, almost 2 years ago, when Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp went down. Having a website secures a lot of your information. If you were to get hacked on any social media platform as well, your website is like your security, it's your grounding. So yeah, even despite all of these could go down, your business is still able to run. People can still find you, can still interact with them there. Social media is something that always changing. We no longer have things like MySpace and AOL and all of these things anymore. Just wanted to add that in.
That's a great point. And to be honest, it's probably even better than all my points, to be frank with you, because at the end of the day, when you own your website, is something that you own, it is yours. On social media, you're participating on a platform that is not owned by you. If tomorrow they decide that your product is blacklisted for some reason, or they decide to shut you down, I can't tell you how many pages I've seen gone up to hundreds of thousands of followers, and automatically you have to start back from scratch for one reason or another, right? It's just a lot more control and a lot more that you are able to do in your way. You're able to also be a lot more strategic in your execution with your website. Literally anything that you would think of that you want to execute, you can do on your own website. When it comes to social media, you're limited to what they have to offer. So for example, I've seen where on social media, if you have a certain number of followers or if you're based in the US, you can actually set up an Instagram shop. That is not allowed in the Caribbean. I understand. I'm not seeing any Caribbean be able to do it. Right? So I hope that answers the question. Is there anything else? Any other burning question or anything else on the workbook?
As regards homework, I'd like to put out something else later. If each of the businesses here can bring back to us next week as well a list of their pain points, your current challenges, so that we are more aware of what's happening within your space, right? We are speaking from professional perspective, from a global perspective, but getting more personal as to what your pain points are is also very important to us. So if you can come back with a list of your pain points, I'm not saying that we're going to address them next week, but we'll address them throughout the course book and our sessions. But we would like to know what are your current pain points. As regards the BSOs, right? I know there are constant changes in your local jurisdictions. If you could come back to us next week with also a list of financial institutions that currently support in any way, in any small way, the changes for e-commerce or improvement for e-commerce, we'd like an updated list of those as well. All right, so that's just 2 additional things that I'd like to have for next week's session or to have submitted to us before next week's sessions.
Good additions, Gilbert. But if there's nothing else, that's pretty much it from my end. Philip, I don't know if there's anything you want to wrap up in, but we're nowhere just about 5 minutes over.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Very excellent presentation, and even more excellent is the interaction between the participants and among the participants. So some things. So I would encourage the BSOs to meet very soon with the businesses in their cohort to assess what went on today, to get a feedback, and the BSOs will channel those feedback back to us at Caribbean Export, and we will relay those to the master trainers. So I would encourage you guys could form your own WhatsApp group to help to drive the interaction. Yeah, that won't be something we would manage, but on your own you could reach out and start and try that, and that would be very, very useful. So, but critical is the BSOs to meet with the businesses in their cohorts. There's a form that was sent out quite a while ago. Some of you filled it out, but those of you who did not fill it out, it's on the chat right now. Ramona, just place it on the chat, make sure you get a copy. And if you didn't fill it out before, please do that, because it kind of give a snapshot of your business, and this is useful data for us, the master trainers, as well as the BSO. You'll be working it to understand where you are. Over time, we will be sending out various forms for you to fill out, and so that we could aggregate the data properly. And so please be on the lookout for that. And next week, 2 officials from our funders, Expertise France, they will be visiting the region. They're making a visit to headquarters. We hope maybe we could meet with some of the participants. We won't be able to visit every country, but we're working on that. But definitely they would be in Barbados, and we would be engaging our various stakeholders here. But they would also be joining us on the live next week. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. So thank you very much. You've been a great group. And the participation was very encouraging, and I'm very excited about next week. Take care, have a good one. Look at your inbox. We will be updating you as usual. So have a good afternoon, and see you next week, same time, same place.